Now who want them, who crossing on? Now who want them, who bottom? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock them. Yeah, we got them, yeah, we got them. Like that black and orange up on them. Single bottle, never stop it. To the beast and load them. Who they rocking with the diamond stripes? Flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who they we ignite and
Welcome to Bengals and Brews, an unscheduled pop-up show. We had some of those last week. I said, I'm going to take a couple days off. I told Jeff, and then Jeff needed me yesterday. So I did a show with Jeff until Lisco got on there, and then I still stayed on there. And then I said, shit, I did one yesterday. Might as well do one today. Got one tomorrow. Let's do it.
Let's do this, man. Well, a lot of news happened, man. I mean, come on. You
got to start with Al Golden. You know, he seems okay. Not interested in his showers, though. Listen, Industry. So I'm going to start the show off real weird, real quick, right away, Bengals and Brews style. If Al Golden showers helps us win a Super Bowl, that motherfucker can pee on me. I don't care. He can get me a golden shower. I don't even care. I'm so excited for a Bengals Super Bowl. Just like I was so excited, but no one peed on me, thankfully, for Ohio State. And Andrew wants to know, can Greg say congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Congratulations, Ohio State. My brother-in-law, who follows me on Twitter, he's like, you were rooting for the Irish the entire time, Greg. If only
hey, your audio's choppy again. Hit the button you hit.
Yeah, sorry. Hold on one second. Hold on. I was
no worries. Just letting you know.
Yeah. My brother-in-law, is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother-in-law was like, you were rooting for the Irish. I saw you on Twitter. If only he knew, Dale.
Yeah.
I told my brother that.
See, Greg was the jinx, man. He would always he's a Bearcats fan, but he likes the Buckeyes as like a second team. And like when they played Georgia and stuff, and I didn't like, that call against Marv. Marv's knocked out of the game. Greg just keep the faith, keep the faith. They lose. Michigan game, Greg's messaging me, keep the faith. I said, Greg, stop it. Never again. You root for every team we're playing against. Look what happened. We go in the playoffs, knock out 4 straight games and win a national title because Greg can never publicly say that he is rooting for the Buckeyes that day.
Well, although I was kind of rooting for Notre Dame. The Notre Dame game was a tad bit easy because I'm like, let's get the Notre Dame defense here going because you knew, Dale, let's just start this off. We knew Bengals fans were going to be like, oh, my God, I hate this defense. Notre Dame sucks. This is going to be horrible. Like, everybody, chill out. They were so overmatched. Ohio State has what, Dale? At the very least, 3 number 1 starting receivers. At the very, very least. That was one of the toughest.
Yeah, Brandon Ennis might be a top-round guy, too. He had just, like, 1 catch. He is their punt returner as well. Is a name I mentioned. Like, he's very good. And then there's other guys on the roster that don't even play yet because they're young, Mylan Graham and a kid coming in, Quincy Porter. They're always loaded at receiver. And I got to give credit where it's due to Will Howard. I was up and down on him all season long because he was not an accurate passer, which we didn't plan to start this show talking about Ohio State, but it happens. And we will talk about Al Golden and Jerry Montgomery and those hires and Bengals. But I'm still excited about the Buckeyes. The first chance on Bengals and Brews to talk about it, so I got to talk about it a little bit. But yeah, and Judkins had a great game. Travion, had a solid game, and it's just having that 1-2 punch. I think is very important going forward in college football. Penn State, man, getting both their running backs back, that could be huge for them. Drew Aller, I know he's up and down, but so is Will Howard. But Will Howard, I was worried about his accuracy, and then like what he did in the playoffs, and Ryan Day, quarterback coach in the NFL under Chip Kelly, head coach, quarterback guy, offensive guy. He got to learn under those guys. So I don't know where Will Howard still for me is like a 3rd round guy, but if he goes 2nd round, it wouldn't surprise me. Like he's done great this season. And 6'5", 6'4", 235, big guy, can run. I heard a funny joke. It was like he's the Josh Allen of Daniel Jones's.
Hey,
so He's a Daniel Jones type, but maybe he's better than Daniel Jones.
What does he have in common? Dale, here's a trivia. Who was the last player to transfer from a school to win a championship for 1 year at quarterback?
At quarterback?
Before Will Howard.
I don't know.
Cam Newton.
Cam, yeah, with Auburn from Florida. He was basically kicked out of Florida. It was still on laptops, all that stuff. Yeah. Then went to a community college. Yeah, good trivia question there, Greg.
I just happen to see that.
Our buddy David Gabbard says Benjamin Morrison, first round. Depends on the hip, man. The hip's got to check out, but I'm not rolling him out at pick 17, because that's the Al Golden guy, and he's an absolute stud. And they missed him, and that's the thing. Al Golden was missing Benjamin Morrison. He was missing Riley Mills, his best pass rusher on the D-line.
Yeah, no, I read about it. I didn't say – I'm like, how come I haven't seen him? I'm like, oh, he's hurt and all that. And Xavier Watts, how well do you think he played against the Ohio State receivers?
I thought he did good. He almost had a pick. It was good coverage on the one, Travion, and he showed his ability as a tackler. He's an all-around safety. He's very good, but 13 interceptions the last 2 seasons says a lot. I mean, that's elite. He led all of college football last year with 7. This year he had 6. This is a safety. I think this year Noel Williams led it from California with 7. So you know what I'm saying? This kid at safety is leading in interceptions. He's a special talent. Like round 2, I don't think he's there at pick 49. I'm just being honest, but I don't want to take him at 17, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals are interested in him there. I hope if the Bengals are interested in Watts that they trade down. I think there's a lot of guys like that. Derek Harmon from Oregon, that was a mock draft I seen from our lads that had that. Jihad Campbell, the linebacker. I don't really want a linebacker. That was the Mel Kiper mock draft. But if you're going to take him, if you got these guys in this tier and they're not necessarily your top tier, let's just say your first 16 picks gets ravaged and you feel like, I got a bunch of guys with a similar grade. Trade down to 25, pick up an extra day 2 pick, and still get one of these players of the same caliber.
So the highest you would take Watts, you say, was like somewhere around the mid-20s or somewhere around there.
Yeah,
right?
I think I could talk myself into that because he's 35th on my board. But the Al Golden connection, the fact that we miss safety in general since we've lost Jesse Bates, I could talk myself into Xavier Watts.
He's the exact Jesse Bates safety we would need. Well, I'm not saying he's going to replace Jesse, but we need that ball hawk safety. I mean, Dale, what if he does good at the combine? Would it surprise you? Say if he has a great combine, he keeps his stock goes up. Could you see a scenario where they would take him at 18?
At 17. I don't know, Greg. Like, I just don't see it because he is safety 2. Safety 1 is Malachi Starks. I think if you're going to take a guy, it's Malachi Starks. Malachi Starks literally can cover like an outside corner. Like,
okay,
the kid is special. You know what I mean? And like Derwin James fell to pick. He was special. Like for me, I'm taking and this is not a knock on Xavier Watts. I think he's very good. But Jesse Bates was a 2nd round pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would feel more comfortable with him in the 2nd, but hey, trade down to 25. I don't want him at 17. Maybe it changes between now and then, but
it's a loaded DT class. And see, you have the luxury of doing this. I mean, you're like, hey man, but DTs can also be a huge run on too. So we'll see how the board falls. I would still take Graham. I would probably still take Graham over Watts in a heartbeat right now at 18.
Now, here's an interesting one, which I need to watch more of him because honestly, he's not even in the draft guide, and it's 350 pages. $5 Project Game Day donation. You can get yourself one. But he said we're going to draft Jordan Clark, who is Ryan Clark's son, in the later rounds. Nice slot corner. So, hey, yeah. Is he in this class? Like, was he a senior? That's my only question about him because I feel like there's got to be a reason he wasn't in there, but maybe he was just a little under the radar coming into the season. They have great corners too. I would love to poach Mike Mickens if he doesn't get promoted. If he doesn't get promoted, he was to the D coordinator, and he might for Notre Dame. But I would love to poach him to be our cornerback coach / pass game coordinator, which is what he was with Al Golden at Notre Dame. And those corners are phenomenal. The other kid, gosh, I'm blanking on his name, and I hate that because he's so good, but he's a true freshman. He's 6'2", and he clocked a 22 miles per hour on field speed when he ran down Judkins. And he's 6'2". He's an elite corner, one of the PFF's top graded corners as a true freshman. That's a good question. I don't know. If it's Malagueta, you might as well not draft him.
See ya. No, I'm just kidding. But no, Dale, I tell you what, man. We see with Notre Dame, they're losing offensive linemen. They're known for developing offensive linemen. Did you see the transfer portal already? I think 2 offensive linemen are like, I'm out of here.
Three.
So
There's a back. Sam Pendleton also left. Rocco Spindler and Pat Coogan. So the starting right guard, the starting center, and a backup guy. I seen some Notre Dame fans that are also Bengals fans that were saying like those guys might not be starters next year. You never want to lose depth, number one. And if they were starters this year on a team that went to the title game, I don't know, man. That is a little odd to me. But at the same point in time, hey, maybe they just want to go elsewhere, and maybe they also NIL money. It's a different world too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Notre Dame's like, we aren't putting our money.
All right, Dale, I have to ask you this. I forget who it was. What was and I thought this was shitty myself. Who was the reporter that said, "Oh, congrats, Ohio State," but 2019 LSU would have kicked the living. You know what?
There's a bunch of that. There's always a bunch of that. It's like, who was the better? Who this team would have? And it's like, who gives a fuck?
Or it's like, oh, they bought it. Well, no, there's a guy there's a guy. He's a big SEC guy. I think he's just pissed how the SEC is going downhill lately. But he said, Ohio State bought a team.
Well, that's all because the SEC was paying their players when everyone else wasn't.
Yes.
Now that everyone's paying their players,
right?
Well, I'll be damned. The playing field is even.
It's just like I said, Dale. I don't mean to bring this up, but like I say, like, what a shitty thing to say, man. Come on. Look, I'll tell you, I was an SEC. I'm still an SEC guy. I would always tell Ohio State fans off. Ohio State won it fair and square. You don't like it? That is your problem.
Well, you don't go through the gauntlet they went through. Tennessee is a very good team, very good defensive line. Oregon was undefeated, the best team all season long, and they kicked their ass. Texas was incredible, was number 2 all season long, arguably number 1 for part of the season, and Texas gave them everything they wanted, but they were able to beat Texas. Notre Dame went through Georgia, Penn State. Right. Let's not act like Notre Dame beat nobody. It's just crazy. And then you beat a Notre Dame, a scrappy, tough, fighting Irish team. And, you can't take nothing away from that. Josh Fryer, man, I think he's a 7th-round undrafted guy. Good for him. Toughed it out through injury, but I don't see the talent overall. He was honestly one of the weaker links on the Buckeyes offensive line. Oh. He will be in the draft. I don't see it at right tackle.
This Ohio State friend I have, who's always like, he still wants to get rid of Ryan Day that I told you about. He says they got it done. Play calling was horrendous the last half. Notre Dame almost made a comeback. When did they? What? They made somewhat of a. But
they did. No, they did. All they had to do was get a stop on that 3rd and 11, and they would have got the ball back with it. And they got 2 2-point conversions, so they made it a game.
They did, but were you honestly nervous at the end?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, come on,
bro! Crazier thing. I'm a Bengals fan. You know this.
Yeah, that's true.
Things have happened in the games. It's never over till it's over. Right. Travis, our buddy Travis here, who was at the Project Game Day draft event last year. There will be another one, by the way. Anybody interested at the Fulling Warehouse on the same night 2 of the draft? What's the date, Greg? The 25th. Friday, April 25th. So that's going to be awesome. So we got the lanes reserved. We got the whole place reserved for Project Game Day. Shout out Fulling Warehouse because they're basically giving us the space for free. All we had to do was rent the lanes. So we're renting the lanes. We'll charge people to get in. So the money goes to Project Game Day, but also, to the lanes, and then money toward the charity. Be some Midwest Best Barbecue there. Maybe some surprise guests like there was last year. You just never know.
You just never know. Hopefully more
should be a great time.
Unraveling as time goes on.
But yeah, our buddy Travis is saying Donovan Jackson pick 17. Listen, I can't even lie. I'm a Buckeye homer, so I'm not gonna deny that part of it. But he's a left guard that I liked at left guard. I liked 2nd-round pick left guard. And then he slides out to left tackle because he has to. And then he gets destroyed by Abdul Carter. And I'm like, hey, don't shit on his draft stock because he's still a really good left guard. And then after he gives up 2 sacks to Abdul Carter, but he beat his ass in the run game, to be fair, at left tackle in that game, and the Buckeyes beat them. He playoff run, gave up 2
Playoffs.
pressures, 0 sacks against 4 of the best defenses in college football, playing left tackle out of his natural position. He earned himself a lot of money. So if he was there at pick 17, because I think somebody could take him strictly to be a left tackle at this point. He was that good at left tackle.
Absolutely. I mean, like I say, I still say, obviously, I think we can agree DT still the position you stick with. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. You don't know who's going to rise up. You just don't know, man. So we'll see how everything goes.
Yeah. We don't get to enjoy very many blowouts. I mean, I go back to like when we beat the Ravens, the Steelers that one year, like the year we went to the Super Bowl, man, we had some fun home games then. But usually it's either you're coming out of that stadium pissed off or you're shitting your pants with nerves in the fourth quarter.
Right, exactly.
But let's go back. Topic of the show. Let's 60 minutes of rambling on about college football. Draft Ohio State, which, we might get to draft before the show's over. Val Golden, I like the hire. I'm cautiously optimistic is what I said on Jeff's show yesterday with him and Jake Lisco. I just, it sounds like it's going to be a similar front, a 4-2. He said 4-3 when they go to 12 personnel and other things, because some people were thinking it might be a 3-4. He's ran 3-4s before. It sounds like it's going to be very similar to what we already run for our base defense.
Well, also with we're still talking Al Golden, but Montgomery ran a 3-4 defense with the Packers, so that's something to point out. Obviously, before we get Montgomery, that's something else to point out right there. I mean, 3-4. Dale, you watch defense better than I do. Is it mainly 4-3 or 3-4 defense as you see in the NFL now these days?
I feel like there's more 4-3, but they all mix it up. There's 5-2. There's
right.
There's 4-2 base with nickel. There's just a bunch of different coverages, and good teams will mix it up, and they'll mix it up situation. The opponent you're playing, that matters. If you want to have more DBs on the field, if you want to have more linebackers on the field, But I do like because I guess the Bengals were going to a lot of 5-2 front, especially against run-heavy teams. So now if you're in a 4-3, you're not like, tipping your hand. But you're going to need good linebackers. So maybe the Jihad Campbell is more realistic than we even think. He's a good cover guy, too.
You would only think, Dale. You'd only think. Like I say, with Al Golden, I watched Joe Goodberry's Beyond the Brain, and he did the ups and downs of Al Golden and Graham. And the thing that caught my attention with Al Golden is, if Dale, a lot of big, huge passes we gave up was because of miscommunication, like, with the corners and the safeties, like, why are we no? Because like someone would be wide open. He's like, well, you're supposed to be covering him. I thought you were covering him. The thing Al Golden holds his players to is everybody stays on the same page. Keep everybody intact. And he's also go ahead.
I was just going to say, I put a quote for the show about like, we got to help our quarterback. And it's like, well, this is, how do you do that? We got to get him the ball back. Like, you just got to get him the ball. So get off the field, turnovers. You can tell Notre Dame with punching the ball out and stuff, the one on Egbuka, they're taught to do those things. And I think that's good to do. Plus, he wanted to be aggressive. And he talked about being aggressive in off-season and preseason. So they come out firing. And that's important for us.
That is very important right there. And, like I say, Al Golden, I mean, I'm starting to forget. Like, you knew it too. All my friends were like, all my Notre Dame friends, like, oh no, he's the highest paid D coordinator. He's not going to leave. And look what happened.
Yeah.
I think here's the thing. I love the hire. I think, but I know where a lot of people were against it. It's not because it was Al Golden, and I understand this why. A lot of people wish the net was widened instead of like 2 or 3 candidates they only interviewed. I get that. Yeah. But maybe the Zach Taylor's like, hey, this is who I wanted. These were the guys I wanted. I think we can guarantee this. Golden was Taylor's first choice.
Absolutely. And then, you read that they're neighbors and this, that, and the other. So they're still neighbors. Even while he was coaching at Notre Dame, his family didn't move. So he's still neighbors with Zach Taylor.
Right, exactly. And Marcus Freeman, well, at first, because I kind of thought to myself, well, Marcus Freeman's a defensive-minded guy. Is it really him or Golden? But then I said to myself, Golden would not be the highest paid DC, and he was also, didn't he get nominated for Best Assistant of the Year or something too?
Probably. I mean,
so you got to think that right there. Like I remember when Al Golden first came here, excuse me, as linebackers coach, I'm like, hey, this is great. A former college head football. I know he didn't do great in Miami, but they were going through a hard time with, a bunch of, players being paid and all that and stuff. But yeah, I mean, when Al Golden first came, I'm like, this is a great hire. You're getting a college coach coaching at linebackers who's been around the league. And he just, he got the best out of Logan, Jermaine, and even Akeem Davis-Gaither, I thought.
Well, and listen, jury's out, right? I'm not going to come on here and put my stamp on him being a good hire, a bad hire. That's just, we don't know. I think Joe Goberry said it, we don't know. I mean, and you can talk about casting a wider net. I agree. I would have interviewed everybody,
I would have interviewed at least 6 or 7. And that goes for the Cleveland offensive line coach too, Peters. We don't know yet. I was on Rally with Santori and Bengal Dad. Bengal Dad said, we heard, he made a good point here. He said, look, we heard the same stuff about Pollock, how much a lot of people praise him. And I understand that. You have to believe it when you see it. Obviously, Peters got a bunch of credit from a lot of legends, which is great. But still, as Bengals fans, we have to see it with our eyes, what he does.
Yeah. I did want to get to this one from Andrew. When are you going to have your mock draft? So we haven't done a mock draft, surprisingly. You know how crazy I am about the NFL draft. And I've been trying to push it off, but we're going to do one tomorrow. Divine's supposed to come on as a guest. Divine Thoughts from Twitter Spaces. Bengals fans are probably familiar with him. He knows his stuff pretty well. He's on here last week. Very impressed with him.
Absolutely. Can't wait to look at that.
Yeah, the plan is to do one tomorrow. And they asked, do you think Al Golden had input on other defensive coaches that were hired? I would say he had some input, but I think the Bengals were trying to fill out a staff, and I think they also probably, to be honest, let Golden focus on what he should be focused on, which was his team trying to win a national title. So it was probably like, hey, they probably ran things by him, his agent, whoever, if they knew he was the guy. Hey, we're looking at, Jerry Montgomery or this candidate. We got 3 or 4 or 5 candidates here for you. And, then he was like, yeah, I'm good with Jerry Montgomery. I'm good with what he's done. And that was our offensive or defensive line coach hire. He was with Green Bay for 9 years. There's been conflicting reports about how much he had to do with Rashawn Gary, because they ran a 3-4. But, Kenny Clark was a 3-time Pro Bowler, and you could say, well, Kenny Clark was already good. Okay. You can draft for guys in the first round. It don't mean they're going to go to the Pro Bowl.
Right.
So, doing something right. Carl Brooks was like a 4th, 5th round guy I really liked. The year he came out of the draft, he's had a good season only in his second year, which he only had 1 year under him and had 4 or 5 sacks.
Yeah, like I said, man, he was well. Now, Dale, I think you did. I know you did your research. Didn't a lot of Packers fans weren't big fans of him, right?
That's what I've read. There's articles out there that just said, they wanted to change. They didn't think he was doing that good. Their run defense wasn't that good. But I also think run defense is on all 11 guys, not just the D line. Right. You know what I mean? You got to have your linebackers. You got to have your secondary guys. You got to have the scheme. And a lot of that falls on the D coordinator. So I don't want to shit on them too much for their poor run defense, because they still had a poor run defense this year, to be fair. And he wasn't there. He was with New England.
Now think about this right now. So we got Peters from New England. We got, what's his name? Montgomery from New England. Dude, Dale, linebackers coach. I think he's a free agent. Could it be Dante Hightower, who was the Patriots linebackers coach last year?
It could be. We seem to be loving us New England guys. They did not have a good season.
Right, exactly. And I wanted Hightower to be a Bengal, so this is about as I've wanted the Bengals try to get Hightower for the last couple of years, so this will be good enough for me. But we'll see. We don't know yet.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to be talking about Golden Peters. I should have named that's my fault. I should have named this episode Golden Peters.
I love gold.
Yeah, that's like Jake Lisco came on and he's like, I do love Peters. And I wanted so bad, but it's Jeff's show. It's a little more professional than this one's, I wanted to be like, clip it. Yeah. Jake Lisco said he loves Peters. Tino, what's up?
What's up, Tina?
Yeah, Golden was Joyce and Slew interview with theirs. Yeah, I think that they were very comfortable going to Golden. And, hey, I said this on Jeff's show. I'll say it again. We already talked about Zach Taylor kind of put his stamp on things with saying, I'm the one who made these fires. And guess what? Al Golden's your neighbor. He's your guy. It wasn't the extensive search that we thought it might have been for D coordinator because they wanted Al Golden. Zach Taylor wanted Al Golden. Zach Taylor, your seat is warm. I'm okay with saying your seat's warm. Yeah. Now go out. You got Joe Burrow. You got Jamar Chase. You might have T. Higgins back. Hopefully you got Trey Hendrickson back. And you got a draft in an offseason that the front office needs to go all in on. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with being on the hot seat. I actually think that's a good place to be. Guess what? Go out there and win, be aggressive on both sides of the ball, and get this damn thing done.
Yeah, prove us wrong. No, prove us wrong. No, that's a fair comment. Whether you're a fan of Zach or not, that's a fair comment right there. Because I'd be like, look, last 2 years, you were 9-8. Clock is ticking. It's been 2 years since you've been in the playoffs. So I don't want the excuses anymore. And I'd be telling them, you better start out strong immediately this season. One thing we do know about the schedule, though, by the way, clearly the second week of the season, they're not going to be at home because they just announced Billy Joel and Rod Stewart at Paycor Stadium. So chances are that's going to be an away game. So hopefully we have another home opener. Let's see.
Got a question here. We'll continue to float back and forth between draft talk. It's all Bengals talk. I mean, we did talk a lot of Buckeyes, but we got most of that out of the way. Top 2-3 guys you would like the Bengals to draft for Hunter. It's Tyler Warren. I'm not in on a tight end that early. I do love Tyler Warren. He's my tight end one. And then Walter Nolan. Now, I love me some Walter. And now, man, I've been talking about Walter Nolan for a long time, haven't I, Greg?
Yes, you have.
The D tackle out of Ole Miss, transfer from Texas A&M. And now all of a sudden he's getting all this hype like he ain't going to be there at 17. It's like, I didn't want him to get all that hype. But
no, you did not.
I knew that he's a very talented guy, and he's a hell of a run defender, but he's a good pass rusher. And some people are like, well, I don't see it. I'm like, I fucking see it. I've watched a shitload of his all 22.
Dale, you haven't seen it.
This guy's a dog. And that's a guy I want on my interior D line, and he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better.
You know what gets better, though, all the time, Dale? Midwest Best Barbecue and Chop Shop, proud sponsors of Bengals and Brews. That always gets better.
Yeah, and I agree, Tina. Like we said, we wanted these hires to come in quickly. So let's hire the linebacker coach. Let's decide if Burks is staying. It sounds like Kovacs is definitely staying because they done quoted Kovacs in their article today, and he was the assistant linebacker when Golden was the linebacker coach. He was helping in that room. Yeah, he's our safety. Kovacs isn't going. Kovacs isn't going anywhere. But Charles Burks, I don't know if his job's safe or not. I'm just saying. I don't know. I got no inside information, but I'm just saying. You didn't hear them talk about him, and if you could steal Mike Mickens, I guess I'm only saying it because I want Mike.
Well, no, how about you see guy? Let's get Mike Mickens.
Well, he was phenomenal at Notre Dame. Plus, he would know how to instill what Golden is doing because he's been working with him.
But Dale, big news that could happen today, and not on the field, but in the office. Trey Brown, he is the final two interviewing along with the Broncos assistant. And Dale,
there was a third guy that interviewed the other day, so I guess there's 3 candidates still for their GM job.
All right, but Dale, explain to them why this could be a big deal if Trey Brown leaves.
Well, it's a big deal both ways. And I'm not saying I want him to leave because I think he's very important. He's another voice in the room, and we don't have a lot of voices. So it's important from the standpoint if he leaves, that's another voice that. Right.
I mean, we already have a short enough staff as it is.
Yeah, and a guy that had the trust to at least, maybe he could push back on a Duke Tobin pick, on a Brown or Blackburn pick.
You know what? Obviously, I'll be happy for him because he's working his way up, and look what he's doing.
Yeah, I would be happy for him.
With a very short staff he's been dealing with. And I think that's why a lot of teams are looking at right now.
So. But I would be happy for him. But then this is the other flip side of it that I was going to mention that Hunter mentions here. You get 2 third-round picks if he gets hired because of the minority program. So it's for coaches, but it's also for front office members. You get 1 this year. You don't get 2 this year. You get 1 this year and 1 the following year. You get 2 third-round comp picks if he gets hired as GM with the Jets. So, I mean, that's –
I go back and forth. I mean, the 2 draft picks would be nice, but, I mean, you look at the
I think it's a win-win right now because
it's a win-win.
Damn, we're losing him.
But
damn, we got an extra top 100 pick.
Right, exactly. But still, you're losing a valuable No. obviously I'll be happy with the 2 third-round picks, but at the same time, buddy, I mean, like I say, as short staff as we are, you better find someone to replace him immediately because the offseason starts next week.
Yep. Senior Bowl is next week. Stacked with talent, like we were talking about Walter Nolan, all these guys, man. Because they have underclassmen now, so it is absolutely stacked. And then there'll be guys like Will Howard. I'd love to see him compete Senior Bowl week. He's not going to compete. He just got off a 16-game season. These Ohio State guys, the Notre Dame guys, I can't imagine any of them play. That's a long season. College kids are not used to that. But it's kind of interesting because, and we'll see, do you factor that in when you draft a kid? You're like, shit, he done went through this. He didn't went through his rookie season wall because usually 12, 13 games, that's it for college kids.
Exactly.
These guys that went through 16 games, oh, shit, you're ready for the NFL. Does it affect their draft stock that way? I don't know. Be the first year to find out.
Oh, exactly, buddy. So, obviously, the coaching staff will get filled in by next week because, like you said, you have the Senior Bowl coming up. So,
yeah, I thought I'll be honest, I thought linebacker coach would be higher because it was already an opening, and they literally announced D-line before they even officially announced Al Golden. So I thought linebacker coach was going to be either announced last night once D-line came in, or I thought definitely today they give Al Golden like an hour or so, then they'd say, here's his linebacker coach.
Right, exactly. Maybe he's still trying to get someone from Notre Dame. We don't know. We just don't know or anything. So, yeah. But, yeah, man. I mean, so back to Golden and all that. So, this is what I look at, with Golden. Like I say, I get why some fans didn't want him back because, he was with Lou and all that and stuff. But here's the thing you got to remember. Lou did not really have a resume coming in here. Lou was like our 5th or 6th choice. And Lou still did a good job for us for a couple of years. Al Golden comes in with a pretty damn better resume. Notre Dame, there was kind of like a joke defense the last couple of years.
Well, we wanted Todd Grantham, right? I mean, remember, and he was coming out of Florida, that D coordinator out of Florida, Greg. So it's like, Golden, and I don't remember Grantham. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't know that he had done any NFL. We know this guy has coached linebackers here. Plus, he was with Detroit, I think, for a couple years before
he's
that.
Had NFL experience. And the thing of it is also because Lou got criticized because he wouldn't play the young guys enough. Guess what? Golden was coaching with young guys, and he's known for developing too. So that's another reason why I'm happy Al Golden is here. So like I say, I get it why, and I get it why, and I was warming up to Graham. I would have actually been okay with Graham.
I think Graham would have been good hire.
Yeah, but because people wanted Graham also because he had no connections with Zach, and I totally get that. But with the difference is though, Golden Man comes in with a better resume coming in here. It's not like, oh man, nobody wanted this job or anything. I guarantee you there were probably, if we would have called me, I guarantee you there were a lot more that wanted the job. And the Bengals, they said, look, we just want a small search. These are the 3 or 4 guys that we're interested in, and that's it. I guarantee you there would have been a lot more wanting to come here. Trust me.
Yeah. Hunter asked if I watched the O-lineman. Yeah, Wyatt Millam. Yeah, he's the first-round guy for me. I don't know if he'll stick at tackle or slide into guard ultimately in the NFL, but he's a damn good football player either way. I got a first-round grade on him.
And back to Trey Brown, like the Jets general manager search, they say we're supposed to find out by tonight.
Oh, okay.
That's what I read. I read somewhere. They said expect a decision by tonight, they said.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you want to know one way or the other, hey, we still got this guy. Because I hope if he leaves, yes, you get the 3rd-round comp picks, but I hope we're going out and we're looking for another assistant GM and poaching somebody from another front office or, because we need more voices, not less, in the front office and the scouting and all those places.
Right, exactly. I don't see any reports. But, I could have sworn I read somewhere they want to know about it they said it could be announced by tonight. So we'll definitely be on alert on that. And like I say, hey, we could easily get 2 third-round picks, but if it doesn't get the job, we still get to keep a great person in the front, a great asset in the front office.
Exactly. I don't know, Andrew. How much improvement should we expect? I don't know, man. It's like I honestly can't put my stamp on anything right now. Like I wish I was more convicted either way. Like I'll be honest. Like I think if it was Robert Saleh, if it was Dennis Allen, I would probably put my stamp on it more that I expect to. I'm just a little unsure on Al Golden, and I'm unsure about Al Golden for this reason. I know he did it in college. I like that he can develop. I like it. But we're in such a win now mode as the Bengals with Joe Burrow. We don't want to waste another year. We need to get in the playoffs. We need to get this thing running and rolling and win a Super Bowl. He's never been an NFL defense coordinator. That is my one concern that I just can't fully put my stamp behind it.
Right, exactly. And you know what? And back to Dennis Allen, we were all like, why isn't Dennis Allen clearly it shows you the entire time he was waiting for Ben Johnson to see which team, because it sounds like he's ready to join Ben Johnson. So it looked like the entire time he's like, look, I'm just waiting. Whatever team Ben Johnson's going to do, that's who I'm going with.
All right, Greg. I like this comment from Chris, poaching assistant GM from Baltimore. Yeah, I mean they probably got multiple. They got so many. They got so many people in their front office. I don't care if it's their assistant GM. Poach somebody else.
I would take one of their scouts. They have like what 20-something scouts or something.
I'll take the Baltimore custodian to be our assistant GM. Get him in here. He's been around. He's been fucking in and out of that draft room, watching their board, watching the process for like.
You're changing the trash.
Get him in here. Assistant GM title on that man.
You're changing the trash in meetings. Do it.
Greg, I'm going to check on my dog. I'll be right back. Talk about how excited you are for, I don't know, whatever you want to talk about.
So obviously this offseason is going to be a huge offseason, for us. I mean, I know some right now are really like, why isn't Chase signed? I mean, look, do I wish Chase was signed right now? Absolutely. You just normally don't see players get extended around this time, or with T, like with the franchise tag, I just can't see T getting signed before. I hope I'm wrong. But with Chase, if we do get an extension with Chase, I don't expect it to be, hell, you look how contracts get done with big name players. It gets done a week or less before the season starts. I know, believe me, I wish right now Chase was signed to a long-term contract, but clearly it takes time. And you know what? You know how a lot of fans made a big deal. Oh, Chase was holding in practice last year. This is not good. This is not good. For those of you that were upset, guess what? Finished up with the Triple Crown. If anything, I advise a lot of players not to practice. No, I'm just kidding. But I advise, if Chase doesn't need to practice, then so be it. Seriously. He held it during training camp. He was in on all the warm-ups. He knew what was going on. If Chase wants to hold it again, great. He's not going to get hurt or anything. Who am I to complain?
Oh, what? We're talking about Jamar Chase holding out?
Yeah, I was talking about, so, there's some fans like, why isn't Chase signed yet? You never, ever see a player on any team signed around this time usually, right?
Well, I mean, you do. You see extensions. You see them in season, but not for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, sure. Well, for the Bengals, it's always a week, less than a week for the season. But the argument I was making, how fans made a big deal how Chase held in training camp. Dale, I think, finishing off the Triple Crown, I think he did just fine. As a matter of fact, Dale, let's have him do it again next year. Let's do it again next year, right?
Yeah, I want the extension, but I hear you.
I mean, hey, he's not going to, he won't get hurt if he holds in. I mean, like I say, with the Triple Crown in receiving, hey, hold it again. Do it.
And honestly, I can't even say this. Like, if T. Higgins isn't signed before free agency, expect him to be on another team. Bengals are stubborn, man. Their front office is stubborn. I could see him getting tagged and them having no intention. I would tag and trade him or have a long-term deal worked out. That's what I would personally do. I think that's the right thing to do. I think, it's the right thing to do for T. Either let's work on numbers. I done got rid of Malagueta. Let's get this deal done before we have to do this. Or let me hit the open market. But at the same point in time, from the business standpoint and the Bengals standpoint, you can't let him walk for nothing.
Right.
A potential third-round pick, it's nothing.
No.
It would also piss off Joe Burrow. So I fully expect, at worst, T. Higgins gets the franchise tag, and the Bengals are still trying to get a long-term contract done with it.
Right. There's no way. Look, for all those reports out there, you see him in a Steelers jersey, you see him in a Patriots, Packers, whatever. Don't believe shit. I am ready to excuse me. I am ready to 100% say.
Yeah, rant.
What's up? What's up, Cam?
It was that rant that got him, Cam.
But the thing of it is, he's not going on another team. It's not going to happen. They have the cap room to afford tag him one more year. It's not going to happen. I have no problem saying that.
Can they, Travis? That's a good thing. Travis mentioned transition tag. Can they do that? Can they still do a transition? I thought that was for like restricted free agents only. I'm not going to look it up. I'm just being honest right now. I'm not going to look it up right now. But because I think you almost have to franchise him or let him walk. Like, I mean, obviously, or you sign him, which is what they should do.
Right, exactly. No, I don't think you can do that. That's only for like restricted free agents. Speaking of restricted free agents,
looking up the transition tag. Yeah, I thought it was restricted free agents because.
But I can tell you,
wasn't that like Andrew Hawkins and shit?
Yeah, remember
there's tenders and there's transition tags.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of shit.
Well, what happened with Baby Hawk was the Browns matched, but the contract was like a bunch of upfront money the Bengals didn't want to match or anything.
Cheap.
And I think that's what happened. Yeah. I think that's what happened. Yeah, that wasn't smart on the Bengals front by and I think they placed like a 5th or a 6th round. It's like, seriously? But I mean, I'll tell you one restricted free agent, if we're going to transition tag, get Uncle Rico back. Get him back now.
So they can do a transition tag, but I don't know, what do you get in return? What compensation do you get if a team signs him on a transition tag? Like, is that one of those they got to send a first or 2 firsts? Because then no one would sign. Man, you just don't see it a lot. And Travis said Lamar got one a couple years ago or whenever.
Right. I don't know how that all works. That's something you'd have to ask Santori or.
Yeah, someone smarter than me. 2 first. Yeah. Yeah, so see, no one's doing. I see. Once again, that's another thing. Like transition tag, franchise tag, whatever you're doing. Hell, players already get pissed about franchise tag. Transition tag probably doesn't fucking set them off.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know about all that, but you for sure thought it would have brought up, or a reporter or an expert would have brought that up. So my guess is probably not.
Maybe Travis is just smarter than they am. Why are you shitting on Travis? Why are you saying a reporter had to bring it up? The reporters don't even ask hard questions most of the time.
Right, exactly.
Do we try drafting a wide receiver 3, Greg? We're assuming we're keeping T in this scenario, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how they feel about Burton. We have not heard anything. We don't know what's going on. It all depends on how they feel about Burton, point blank. You just don't know. Yoshi is not a number 3 receiver. I've accepted that. He's a good 4th receiver. He can still do other stuff, but if I know Burton's not coming back, maybe in the 3rd or 4th round, I look into drafting a number 3 a number 3 receiver.
Yeah, but what about Andre Iosivas?
Well, I told you about Yoshi. I don't know if is he a number 3 receiver now? Number 3 was
he is if you have Mike Gesicki back.
Right, if you have Gesicki. Okay, if you have Gesicki back, then yeah, he's my number 3 receiver. Point easily. I have no problem. He's proven.
I really do think those two things go hand in hand, though, because if Gesicki walks, then it's just like, all right, where are we getting that production?
Right.
Because right now it's not on the roster and you only have 6 draft picks. So let's just say, okay, it's Jamar and T. Well, and this is the knock against T, expecting him to stay healthy for 16 games. Then Yoshi all of a sudden bumps up to the number 2. You cannot count on Jermaine Burton. So, I mean, I do think it's possible you take a receiver, but I just think we can fill some of these needs in free agency, but I also been a Bengals fan long enough in my life. There ain't no way in hell we're going to fill that many of our needs.
Right, exactly. There was 6 picks, absolutely not. And that kind of goes back to the Kyle Pitts thing I asked you about. I just immediately said, hell no. Nothing against Kyle Pitts. But when I thought about it, you brought up a good point, and I talked to Cincy James about this. Good point was, what are you going to do with the 5th or 6th round pick exactly? But yeah, it was just the draft picks. I just thought there were way many other needs. But when I thought about it, if we lose Gesicki, I would not be against that.
Yeah, Fannin could replace Gesicki. There you go. But you got to take Fannin. I mean, if Fannin gets to 49, Ryan, I'll be surprised. And I'm not taking Fannin at 17. I know you might because you have a lot of love for Fannin. But I'm not taking any tight end at 17, personally.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, Industries. We're still working on that.
Yeah, if Yoshi would do the dot bot, he would probably be like another number one receiver on this team. We would just have three number ones like Ohio State.
He probably would.
See, I disagree. I think the tight end class is good, like good at the top. I don't think it's deep.
Better than last year, though, right?
I guess, but I mean, like, I like guys like Jake Brenningstool, Aronde Gaston, but they're basically like flex receivers. But guess what? If Brenningstool's there in the fourth, I'd be excited about him out of Clemson because I think he could give you some of what Gesicki did, and he's younger and you have him on a rookie contract.
I agree with that. No, yeah, like I say, we just drafted two. Well, the tight ends are the one draft tight end. We don't know if he could stay healthy for a couple of games, and the other one he's never really given a chance. So yeah, I mean, tight end could be one of those dark horses that you could consider.
Well, Greg, as we get into the draft, you want to send a link out?
I don't know how to do that.
No, like I'll do it. I'm saying, you want to send a link out? Let people talk some draft.
Yeah, if you want to, you can.
Or give their thoughts on Al Golden or Jerry Montgomery or potential linebacker, whatever. Hop in.
That's fine.
Hop in for a couple minutes. And we'll put the link out if anybody wants to hop in. I know KP hopped in, I think on Jeff's show it was, not ours, but he's in the chat. He's probably a knowledgeable cat, especially when it comes to the draft. Oh, yeah, Mike Green, man. I'm all about Mike Green for sure. Yeah. Big fan of Mike Green. It's just why was he dismissed from Virginia? Who knows? As long as that is all good. And I want to see him next week. He's one of the guys I want to see next week for the Senior Bowl. I might pull up the Senior Bowl roster here in a little bit and just run through and say, I know Walter Nolan's supposed to be there. I'm excited to sell. I'm excited for Deion Walker from Kentucky because he's 6'7", 340.
Right.
But he doesn't play like a defensive tackle. He almost plays like an edge, but his sack production was way down this year. But he had 7.5 sacks last year at that size.
Okay, yeah. Deion Walker.
6'7", 340.
Yeah, no, Walker. I mean, you and Cincy James were all over him. I mean, he didn't have a bad season, but yeah, man, I'm like, what the hell happened with him?
I was all over him from his tape from last year, but his pad level sucks. He's kind of lazy at times. I don't know, man, but he is a guy who can improve their stock more than anybody, I think. And I still got like a second round grade on him. Like I can't quit a guy that's 6'7", 340 that can move.
Oh, absolutely not. No. What round did you say he was again?
I got him second, but I could see him working his way up in the first with a good Senior Bowl.
Say if we got the Marshall, the one Divine's really high on, Green. We get Green in the first round and Walker in the second round. Would you be happy?
Yeah, I don't know how this fan base would feel, but me personally, I would say let's go to work.
Dale, you're happy, I'm happy.
And then I'd say give me a guard in the third round, like best available.
And you know what, Dale? That's where a lot of the good guards are a lot of times is third and fourth round.
Could have had Dominic Pooney last year. Just saying. And we wouldn't be having this conversation because we'd say let's fill the other one in free agency.
I want to go back to Peters, and Goodberry pointed this out, how he didn't have a team to work with. They drafted two guards in the third or fourth round, but Goodberry said, those guys I didn't even have like a seventh round picks. And that's what he was kind of scared about Peters was in on the decision making. But the Patriots have notoriously been known to take guys like, wait a minute, that guy was like a 6th round pick.
Yeah, but that was Belichick was there. He wasn't there last year.
No, that's right. That's right. So
because Belichick was basically the de facto GM. So this guy probably did. Like Jake Lisco said the same thing with. He said, I don't know whose decision it was, but they were way lower on like me and Goodberry and the board and stuff they do.
Yeah. Cam here says, I wish I could join you guys, but I have a bad sickness. Oh, sorry to hear that, Cameron.
Yeah,
hope you get better, buddy.
Yeah, Mahogany was one, man. 3rd round grade on him. Christian Mahogany, Boston College. They produce a lot of good O-linemen.
Ryan
he went in the 6th round. He went in the damn 6th round. Like, what are we doing?
Oh, Ryan here says, if y'all are still here, when I get home, I'll hop on. Okay, Ryan.
How soon's that going to be, Ryan?
How soon, though, is it?
It's cold in this garage, baby.
Maybe it's cold outside.
But
Come on, Dale. It's
I
not
love
as
doing.
cold. Dale, it's getting better compared to the other days, man. It's not. I figured you adapt to it by now, bud.
Right.
How the hell did you do Jeff's show yesterday, man, when it was like 0 degrees?
Well, it had warmed up to like 20, but well, I told you what happened. I'm at home. It's like
We got
KP
on
from
here.
KC.
What's up, man?
Hello, can y'all hear me good?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can hear
sir.
you.
Perfect, man. We ain't having stream issues like we was having last week.
Probably Jeff's fault, for being honest. Fucking
Oh,
nice,
okay.
man.
Yo, I'm liking some of the same guys y'all liking, man. I'm liking Mike Green. What I see on tape, I think he'll be there at 17. And I also think, like you guys said, man, the DT that you just want to run stuff, you can get him later. There's no point of reaching for Kenneth Grant if you got Mike Green standing in your face.
See, I like Kenneth Grant though.
It goes back and forth. KP, like I say, I know the downfall with Green from Marshall is always at a small school, dude. I don't care. You get 17 sacks. That's good in my book, right there.
Dude,
10,
have you seen his spin move?
No, I know I haven't seen it, but I've heard his spin move is unreal.
I'm gonna find a link for you. I'm gonna drop it in the back.
He's got a bunch of pass rush moves.
No, I think didn't Devine say he's got like the spin move of the famous
Dwight.
Yeah, Freeney.
Oh man. Oh, if I said with Dwight Freeney, if I could find when I saw Dwight Freeney, I'm like, are we ever going to find another Dwight Freeney ever? And when I was told about this, I definitely need to watch that.
I'm about to find you a link. I'm about to find you. Let me mute up. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right.
You're fine.
I'm not leaving, but I'm gonna mute up and find the link.
Oh, you're good.
No, you're cool.
M says we need to get a guard in the first 2 rounds. Listen, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not against it.
I'm not opposed to that either.
And it could fall the right way where you do take one. Armand Membow. I probably fuck his name up.
Bow.
But he's my guard 1 now, but he's a tackle. I put him at guard because he's 6'3". I got to see what his arms measure, this, that, and the other. But athleticism for days. He's only 20 years old. Kid is incredibly talented. Plays at Missouri. Did play at Missouri. Now, obviously, he's going to the NFL.
Well, Dale, and I saw your guards. I knew you bumped up another guard. You only have 2 guards in the first round, so that's a little concerning. What tackle?
Because guards don't go in the first round, Greg. They don't,
bro.
That's right. That's
why I don't put a bunch up there.
No, you're right.
There's no point. I just dropped it in the back. Y'all have it. Y'all can check it out later. But Green did that against Ohio State. He did that against Ohio State. That wasn't against anybody. Donovan Jackson is going to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick this year from Ohio State.
Well, the spin move was on Josh Fryer, and somebody asked about him earlier, and I said, that's an undrafted free agent.
But Dale, that's still okay.
No, he's a good player.
When you see the spin move and the timing of it, you know he has the timing and the move down. So he got that move, and he got other moves. So he already has advanced package. Like,
wasn't DeMarcus Ware out of like Troy?
Yeah, he was from Troy. Yeah.
Khalil Mack came out of Buffalo.
I
asked my brother, I'm like,
get the fuck out of here. Good pass rushers, you can tell are good pass rushers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
no, I asked my brother,
is
Khalil Mack for real? He's like, Greg, when I saw him against Ohio State, he stood out big time. He is for real. My brother told me so. Yeah, that's the first player I thought of was Khalil Mack. Hey, let's get Khalil Mack in with Green also. Why not?
He can't cost that much because he's almost retired.
Right.
But if you put Green on the other edge across from Trey, and you have the 2 rushers that you have, that solves your 3rd down issues, your 2nd and 3rd down issues. You don't have to have coverage corners that can cover for 10 seconds anymore. You know what I mean? So like that covers all those issues. Your defensive tackle you can get later, man. There's no point of getting a run stuffer in the first round. That doesn't make any sense.
I'm guessing this question. Hold on, real quick. I'm guessing this question from Andrew is about the defensive back coach. Probably just forgot a word in there. Do you think they keep the defensive back coach that they initially kept? Rumors, more changes coming. Yeah, I seen that in a James Rapine article that it's to be decided in the next couple of days. And I was talking about that earlier. If you could get Mike Mickens from Notre Dame, sorry, Charles Burke, appreciate you. We're going this direction.
Yeah, KB, I want to point out something. Bengals have a good history with Green. The last Green we had on this team didn't play too bad, right?
Yeah, AJ AJ?
Yep. So, hey, why not? Let's add another green on the team. I'm cool with that.
Well, I also think back, didn't Randy Moss go 17th overall?
I believe so.
What
around
college
that
did he
time,
go
yeah.
to?
We are.
So I'm just saying, let's not act like you can't come out of Marshall.
Yeah, it doesn't make any
Chad
sense.
Pennington.
But
Yeah.
not even just Marshall, but it's all these places we talked about. You know, there's guys that are playing. You see these guys getting drafted. Quinn Miners for the Broncos, the offensive lineman. You know, but they go to the Senior Bowl, they look good there too. But they're second, third round picks, and they're worth every bit of that. Now you can take a Cordell Volson, and he wasn't ready for it, and he is just not that guy. He wasn't that guy at North Dakota State.
I'll give you a good example. Schwartz for the Chiefs, who played for there. Central Michigan. Wasn't he like, well, no, he wasn't the first pick. Was he like the number 2 pick of the draft or something, Dale? Who was it?
There was a Jake Matthews and someone else that went 1-2.
No, he's talking about the tackle. He was a tackle.
Yeah, I know. He's talking about Mitchell Schwartz. Jake Matthews was a tackle too. Did he go that high? There was a 1-2 draft where it was like 2 tackles, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I forget who the other one was.
I don't know. Just spitballing. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, Jerry Rice was from FCS. Yeah.
Have you guys seen this kid I seen the other day? He's pretty low to the ground. Central Arkansas. David Walker.
Oh, fuck yeah. He's in my top 20 edges.
Yeah, Dale would know more than this. So,
okay.
Oh, yeah. I got a clip. I got a clip of him. And you know what? I took like his best competition. So we all talk about North Dakota State, right? Like for that level of competition. And offensive linemen that come out of North Dakota State. He was, I won't say dominant, but he flashed multiple times and was somewhat dominant. I will say it. Fuck it. So I got that clipped up on the Bengals and Brews Twitter account if anybody wants to check it out. But yes, David Walker, and he is a Senior Bowl guy. I expect him to probably move. That is the last piece for me. Let me see it against these guys. But I plan on moving his ass up because I'm telling you, he could be a top 100 pick easily. Him and I know it's not a, FCS school, but it's Toledo, smaller school. They had Quinyon Mitchell from there. He's done just fine. But Darius Alexander at defensive tackle, and then Walker's an edge. But those 2 guys, though, excite me.
Yeah, I like Tate Ratledge from Georgia as a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
For a guard, he looks pretty good to me. I've seen him.
Fairchild too. Fairchild's not far behind him, and his pass blocking grade was like an 87 this year. The other guard for them. Man,
it's a lot better than what we had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they played in the SEC, so they played top competition.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they have the possibility to cover a lot of their needs within the draft, but they still got to get the free agents that they need to get. So I think they should get a guard in free agency. And then, I mean, why didn't we sign Tierra Tart last year? That didn't make any sense to me after seeing him this year.
Well, we had Paul Daner on, and he reported this. Tart, it wasn't because of his talent. Didn't he have like an attitude issue or something?
Shit, his attitude worked in L.A.
Exactly. But yeah, that was the reports, though. I'm with you, KP. Like I was with you the whole. It's like, come on, we're talking. Unless he's asking for $10 million a year,
he
or
wasn't,
something.
Bro. He almost got like $1 million.
Exactly.
Right.
I know. I agree.
I wanted Tart. I was furious because he was the last and only option for us. Literally.
Yes, bro. They didn't sign him. He goes to LA. Their defense is better than ours, and Sheldon Rankins does squat for us at all for $10 million.
But you could have had them both. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, you could have had them both
cheap.
because Tierra Tart could have been the backup behind him, and when he went out, then you have Tart there with the rookies.
Okay, you're not bringing in the 35-year-old from New England. I can't even remember his name now, but
Lawrence Guy.
Yeah, Lawrence Guy. Hey, good career. I'm not hating on his career.
Yeah, he just got through working off the truck like I did yesterday, and they put him in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
nuts, bro.
But Walker is a little bit small. To go back to Walker, what do you like about Walker though, KP?
He turns that speed into power, man.
Exactly.
Either you can pass rush or you can't. All
Yeah.
this drafting guys because they athletic in college, man. Either you can do it or you can't. I don't believe in that. They showed that with my Miles Murphy. He's just an athlete. He's just
Or
an
you
athlete.
just yeah. Well, I'm scared to death of Michael Williams. Speaking of that, like, listen, I still have faith in Miles Murphy, like, but you don't need two Miles Murphys.
No.
No, you need a guy that can play.
Like,
Either you
and
can play or you
Murphy
can't.
can play. But he needed development. He still needs it though.
Yeah, and he's only 22. He's only
Yes.
22. He's played 2 years in the league, and he's only 22 years old, so he has time. But while he's biding his time to become better, they need another guy that can really get after the passer. They don't need to mess with a project.
Would you take Osai back?
Only at a discounted rate. I'm not paying him crazy money. He can walk if that's the case.
Well, Mulligata prices because that's his
Yeah.
agent.
Well, Dave can find somebody else to pay for him because he didn't have many sacks. He had less than 5 sacks, right?
Well, I think he had 4 or 5 right at the end of the year. Like, but the rest
Yeah.
of the season,
Yeah, Dave can take him. Dave can take him wherever he wanted to take him. But I wouldn't sign him in no bid war. No, ain't
Yeah.
no way.
Well, I mean, he's only 23 still, so I could see some teams saying, "Hey,
I love Joseph Osai coming.
I
out
like him
great.
too." But yeah, but with him only being 23 years old, I could see some teams saying, "Hey, we got a lot of faith in you," But so I could see them giving him a price where the Bengals are like, "Yeah, we're not doing that."
Yeah. Well, now
Maybe he needs to
we
play
need
3-4.
2. Now we need 2
Well, maybe he
edges.
needs Well, you don't
Oh,
need
yeah.
2 if you get a guy that's really good. If you get a guy that's good, they can start. I mean,
Oh, well, no,
he could
maybe
end
we
up-
don't because my guy is Cedric Johnson. You're right.
Yeah, and if you have a guy that you can get that's a Mike Green or James Pierce Jr., those guys, well, you're gonna have.
Uh-oh.
He was on it too.
Man, he was on it.
Here's some Tom about some guards. So Risner,
Becton.
yes, been wanting that for a couple of years. Becton could have had him last year. Tevin Jenkins should have drafted him over trading down and taking Jackson Carman.
Oh my God! I'm like literally.
But hey, don't make the same mistake twice, right?
Exactly. But
So
Jenkins,
there's 3 guys. It would be making the same mistake 3 times for Dalton Risner because we should have brought him in the last 2 years.
But Becton, look what Becton did this year for the Eagles. He did a great job. We got to don't screw this up again. But yeah, Jenkins, Dale. I'm like, oh my God, we got Jenkins. But obviously, I know we had injury issues. But man, Jenkins, man, I'm like, that would have been the ace in the draft if we would have gotten Jenkins.
And he did, and he had injury issues coming in, and he's dealt with some of them with the Bears. You're right, Em. You can't downplay that, but he is, as you said, he's a stud. He's a damn good player.
Nope, here we go. We got KP.
To me, Michael. Well, you're thinking of Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker is the tweener. Michael Williams is the guy that plays on edge, the guy that's been mocked to the Bengals. I would take Jalen Walker, to be honest, because he's played linebacker for them, but he is just like Abdul Carter. He's going to be that dude at pass rusher. Him, Mike Green. So here's if you want the best pass rushers in the draft, it's Abdul Carter. It is Mike Green. And third, for me, is Jalen Walker, because when they actually move him to edge, he is that guy. And then it's James Pierce. But James Pierce is my edge too. Like, don't get it twisted. I like James Pierce. But that's my top 4, like, pass rushers. I just have Walker listed at linebacker because that's what he played. KP, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I had some issues.
Any thought on Becton? Like Mekhi Becton as a guard pickup or
Mekhi?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a guard, yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, they had him in the building. They let him walk out the building, and he went to play for Philadelphia. Now he's earned himself some money. Man, I don't know what the front office is doing, guys. I don't understand this. I don't, man.
That's every year. That's every year, honestly.
It's every year. KP, I don't know if you remember this, but I'll tell you one year I was so ticked off. I'll never forget this. Warren Sapp, I thought the Bengals had him. I'm like, okay, it's the morning. We're getting Warren Sapp. And then I see Sapp to Raiders, and we find out the Bengals lowballed him. He was ready to go to Cincinnati, and we lowballed. I was so mad that day. That was one of the worst days of my life. I was so mad that day.
Mm-hmm.
We did not get Warren Sapp.
Yeah, because Mekhi Becton, I'm looking up his over the cap number. He got $1 million in base salary this year.
Oh.
Well, and then the Eagles made him a hell of a right guard, and he's still playing, so he's going to get a hell of a pay bump. But still,
Imagine your right guard being the same size as your right tackle.
yeah, him and Mims.
Oh my God, bro. Just run the ball to the right side on goal line. That's all you gotta do.
They could have played him at left guard beside Orlando. Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, not to have the vision to move him to guard. It didn't make sense. Like, hey,
Make sense.
we're bringing you in as a tackle, but also if we draft a guy at tackle, we're going to kick you in at guard and let you compete with Cordell Volson and Alex Kappa. But that's the problem. They're so locked in on those guys. I don't know if that was Pollock. I don't know whose decision that was. But it got Pollock fired.
But how do you get locked in on two guys that have no shot at making even – man.
Well, Kappa, I'll give Kappa this. He was good. He just fell off.
He was good the first season he got here. That was it. After that, it's been the same. It's been a decline in play.
Volson was never a good pass blocker.
I'm gonna tell you what I think. What I think they may do, which will piss me off if they do this, and I might be done, guys. If they don't cut Sam Hubbard because of politics or whatever they feel about him, and they keep him on just to keep him on and try to cut the money, it's a waste of time, bro. And then what I see them doing is sometimes they'll try to fill a spot with a player that's just like him. And what I mean by that is a guy like Landon Jackson from Arkansas. He can't rush the passer for real, but he got quote unquote potential. I don't need potential. I need production. I don't need potential, man.
I do not like Landon Jackson. He's like almost a third round guy for me.
But that looks like a pick that they'll make to reincarnate the Sam Hubbard type of psychosis that they do. I don't know why they do this, bro, but they do this.
Even Jack Sawyer, as a Buckeye fan,
He's the same.
No, I know. I'm gonna admit it though. I almost talked myself into it last week, and then I went back to draft analyst Dell and said, "No, you had him as a second round guy for a reason. That would be a terrible pick at 17."
He's the same player, man. He's the same player. They're the same player. If you already got Miles Murphy as a first, you may as well just let him play the run if that's what you're gonna do, because he ain't giving you no sack production. Okay, so if that's what you're getting out of that guy, you can't tell me that you can't get better at the position that he's going to play, because he's not giving you any production. You can get better at that position, and you can get better at the safety position where you got Geno Stone for the $10 million or $6 million you're paying him. You can get better in the fifth round or fourth round or something like that. If you look at the safety class, it's pretty deep too. Hell, I'll take the kid from Ohio State, the safety, which will be a late round pick, over Geno Stone for $6 million.
I think Ransom's a third rounder personally.
Hey, Dale. I got some news to break. This is not Bengals related at all. You know how the Tampa Bay OC said he dropped out of the
Liam Cohen? Yeah, he's formerly at Kentucky and stuff. Yeah.
And now that the Jaguars fired that general manager, he's now in discussions to become their head coach now.
Trent Baalke, who's the head coach?
Trent Baalke had no chance.
The Tampa Bay coordinator.
Liam Cohen in discussions again after he declined. He said, "I'm out. I take myself out of the running to be the Jaguars head coach."
Right.
They fired Trent Baalke last night. Now he's back in that he might be the head coach.
Oh, well, don't worry about it. He'll be fired soon because they paid all that money to Trevor Lawrence, so he'll be fired. He'll be fired too. Just like the coach in Indianapolis will be fired too. So
and Lou hitched his wagon to that.
Man,
that's Lou's way to be a head coach. Like, he'll be interim.
Nah, man, he's just trying to get him some money right now. I don't blame him. Get your checks, man.
Hey, I don't even think Lou is awful. It's just, I honestly, for me, and I talked about this a few times over the last couple of years, when he did not get those head coach jobs, it wasn't the same Lou.
Yes.
It just wasn't.
No.
Yeah. I understand that. What do you guys think about the kid from Notre Dame? He played pretty good on defense, safety the other night.
Watts. Yeah, Watts, no, we were just talking. Now Dale has the Georgia safety a little bit higher, but Watts, if his stock rises, would it really shock us if we took a Watt? I wouldn't be mad about it, but like Dale, I think you said you'd trade down. you would have to trade down like in the late 20s or something to take Watts. So
Mid to late 20s for me if I'm taking him, just because he's 35th on my board. You know what I mean? I think he's a hell of a player. It's just safety is another one of those positions. You know, you don't have a lot of first-round guys.
No.
Like, basically, it's Malachi Starks, and that's only because he can cut. He came in as a corner at Georgia, and he can cover like a corner.
Yeah, he's a track guy, too.
Yeah.
It's very rare you get a track guy like that plays safety.
But I like Watts. It's not a knock on Watts. It's just, you know, I look back at Bates, like second-round pick. A lot of people thought the Cowboys might take him in the first in the 20s. And then he was there in the second at our pick, and we took him. So that's how I view Watts. Like, if the earliest we take him, it better be mid-20s. But I like the player because he can tackle. He's a ball hawk. Also, 13 interceptions speaks for itself over the last 2 years. Like, he's impressive as hell. Like, I really like him. I don't want to spend our pick 17. I don't really want to spend it on a safety, period.
No, that's too high. That's too high. You got to get the pass rusher. If you don't have the pass rush, the safety don't matter.
You got to do the trenches. You got to get the trenches.
And if it's not a pass rusher, it better be a guard that I think can kick out the tackle. Even Donovan Jackson is in that conversation now for the Buckeyes.
He's interchangeable. Yeah, I draft a guy like that. Probably Donovan Jackson will probably be there in the second round.
I don't know now. I think he made himself a lot of money with what he did in the playoffs at left tackle because he was strictly a guard, you know. But like a Will Campbell, who I think will go earlier, Kelvin Banks from Texas, these guys have played left tackle their entire careers in college against good competition. Like, if one of those guys fall to 17, I would have to take them, play them at left guard, knowing in 2 years when Orlando Brown's contract runs out, I'm kicking them out, and they're my left tackle. I'm good, like a Whitworth plan.
Hey, KP, so, you know, me and Dale, you know, we kind of have our differences on this. So, cornerback, you know, and I'm happy with the young corners and all that. You know, Newton, like, you know, it's Taylor Britt started off bad, but he got better at the end. You know, DJ Turner, we'll see what he does. I think we're going to lose Hilton in free agency. But I loved what I saw with Ivy and Newton. But I still think we need to go out and get a veteran corner. I don't know about drafting a corner in the first round. What's your take on the cornerback room right now, KP?
If you draft one, it's got to be late. They got too much stock invested in Dax Hill and DJ Turner and Cam Taylor-Britt. Yeah. Nah. Somebody got to work out of that room. Somebody got to work. That's too much capital, man. And then look, those guys are about to be on a contract extension level almost. We don't even know what we really have out of Dax Hill. We don't know.
Right, and that's what I was pounding my fist on the table for Stephon Gilmore. Like, I wanted Stephon Gilmore.
Like a veteran, yeah. Greg's stance has been he would rather get like a veteran as another guy. But I said a lot of times you can get that veteran, Eli Apple or whoever. Right. You can get that veteran and put him on your practice squad.
They should have got him last year. They had a chance to get Gilmore last year. They did. And they had a chance to get Xavier Howard. They didn't do that either. Like, I remember he came in the building. I mean, they could have got him at the end of the year or whatever, but, you know, they chose not to, man. I don't know what they're doing in there, man. I have no idea. This makes no sense.
Anthony, what's up?
What's going on, fellas?
Oh, not much, man. Kicking it around the horn here. What are you doing?
I'm taking a break at work.
So you're taking a shit right now. So if we hear a plop, we know what Anthony's doing.
No, I wouldn't subject you to that.
What's up, brother? Well, how do you feel about the hiring so far? I'm going to check on my dog, and Greg, you run this after Anthony talks about the hires.
All right. Let's take on Golden, Anthony.
For me, overall, I'm not against the hire. I think a lot of people are kind of shitting on it because we didn't go and try to pursue Robert Saleh or a Dennis Allen. But the thing I've kept telling people, who's to say that we didn't talk to him, but they just told him no, or any number of things. For me, like I said, I think if you look back at 2021 and you look at how Golden worked with the linebackers were playing a lot different than they were after he left. Absolutely. So that's one thing that does leave me hopeful as far as what he could do, and looking at a lot of the tape that he did for the Notre Dame football team. Like I said, he was working with younger guys that basically he was having to develop them from being a piece of clay into being the Michelangelo sculpture. So it's like you have to look at it from that perspective. So I think in the long run, we're going to see this coming season is going to be his shot to show what he can be as a defensive coordinator in the NFL. And who's to say that, hey, if he comes in and really shows out, he might end up being a head coach at some
Yeah,
point.
and you brought up Dennis Allen, and we find out Dennis Allen is like right when Ben Johnson got hired by the Bears. You saw that Dennis Allen's already been linked. It just seemed because, like, we know because fans are like, why aren't we talking to Dennis Allen? Why aren't we talking to him? And as it turned, it looks like the entire time he was just waiting to see where Ben Johnson was going, so he could be Ben Johnson's defensive coordinator.
Oh no, I definitely don't disagree with that. That's what I've been telling people is that a lot of these guys, because people I've had the chance to talk to that know that some of the people I've had the chance to talk to that know the ins and outs of the NFL, some of these guys they get the chance to talk to. A lot of times you don't really hear about who they talk to, other than the people that they bring in for interviews.
Right, exactly.
So
KP,
yeah.
KP, what's your take on Al Golden? I'm sure you talked about. I think you were on Jeff's show yesterday, but what's your take on Al Golden, KP?
I think it's a good hire. They had him in the building before, and like he did say, man, that they were moving to the ball when he was there. It's like they changed him so much, but I really do believe they got to get another one tech in there next to Chris Jenkins and McKinley Jackson and let them platoon. So if they're not going to pay BJ Hill upwards of $10 million, they have a way of drafting a guy later and then also bringing in a guy like we talked about, Tierra Tart, and they'll be under probably 5 or 6 million at that position just for those two guys, outside of what they're paying the two rookie defensive tackles that they just drafted last year.
Yeah.
So they can get that from them, and the pass rush will come from the edges if they do what we're talking about in the first round.
In
As far as the defensive end.
KP, obviously I'm on the same boat as you with defensive line. What's your take on Montgomery, the new defensive line coach? What's your take on that hire?
From what I'm hearing, the guy's pretty good. From
Yep.
what I'm hearing, the guy is pretty good. So they need it right now with Jenkins and Jackson right there. They
Yeah,
need
that
it
was
with
definitely
those
one of
two
the most
guys.
important. That was definitely an important hire. Anthony, what's your take on Montgomery?
I'm pretty much the same way with as KP. The little bit that I have gotten on him, uh, and people speak very glowingly of him and say that, especially his time in Green Bay, they had the Green Bay Packers D line humming. So I I know for me, looking at they're looking at it overall. Like I said, I'm going to be anxious to see around the first day of camp, see how these guys come in, because I know, like I said, I'm curious to see what the linebackers do,
Right.
because going into the last 2 years, the linebackers were playing a little bit. I don't know. To me, it seemed like they were playing a little bit. I got thrown off a little bit by that. By that.
Now, of course you would, Dale. But yeah, no, Anthony, I get what you're saying. So when when I went on a rally and saying with Santori Bengal Dad, we were talking about Peters, and Bengal Dad made a good point. Because remember when Frank Pollock got hired, we heard the same great reviews about Frank Pollock, pretty much, and all that and stuff. How he's good, he's got a lot of praise, and I'm excited for Peters. I really am.
You're excited for Peters.
Yes,
Gay.
I am. Golden Peters, but yes.
Pause.
Yeah,
Pause.
Exactly. But like
Exactly.
I say,
Pause.
I got to believe it when I see it, though, with Peters.
But where are you at with some of the impending free agents? That's what I want to know. Some of particularly the defensive guys, because like guys like BJ Hill, Von Bell, and Mike Hilton. I can see a few of those guys going with Lou over to Indy.
Wouldn't surprise me. BJ Hill, I go back and forth. I'm not going to cry if we get rid of him. That means if he leaves, it's a must to sign a DT in free agency and draft a DT. And it's a loaded DT class, and I'm not against it, but that has to be a priority. I mean, I would still like to have BJ back.
Hey, Greg.
BJ, my opinion, is
Hey,
only
Greg,
good.
I don't mean to cut you off real quick. I got to get this in. Fuzzy Balls.
Fuzzy Balls. We got a super chat. Shout out Fuzzy Balls. Giving us all kinds of super chats the other night, wasn't he, Anthony?
Yeah, that's why I had to slip that in.
You had to do it.
Do continue, Greg. My apologies.
No, you're okay. But BJ Hill, honestly, in my opinion, his only good years when we had Larry Ogunjobi when he was a rotational player. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, but I just don't view BJ Hill as a full-time starter. I just don't.
And I can't say I disagree because I know me and Will have gone back and forth on it, and we're both kind of at the same point. I know I'll be curious to see who we end up keeping and who ends up leaving, because there's some guys that if by chance, a matter of fact, let me throw this out there. If by chance we don't sign T,
right?
Do you see us? And this goes to everybody that's in this chat right now. Do you see us picking up another receiver in free agency, or do you think we wait till the draft?
I don't think it's a good free agent class. But I also don't think it's a great receiver class compared to what it has been the last 2 years. So I really think, and with the pressure of Burrow, it's hard for me to say like we won't sign T. But I need to get to this. I know we were going to kick that one around, Anthony, but I got to get back to Fuzzy Balls real quick. Just draft Kenneth Grant, D tackle, Michigan. Upgrade over what we have. Elite D tackle requires a first-round pick.
Not wrong.
Hey, my thing about the T Higgins stuff is with a weak class in both free agency and in the draft, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense to let him go. So that's the same reason I feel about letting BJ Hill walk. The reason I'm okay with him walking is because it's such a deep class, a D tackle, in my opinion, in the draft, that I'm afraid if we sign him, we won't go draft another guy early, and I want them to draft a D tackle early. So that's my view.
But deep class, Ryan, I want to go back to that real quick, because deep class with D tackle, it's like you still need one of the top guys. Like we need an OC Odigizua. We need Milton Williams, who probably going to have no shot at getting him. He's going to make so much daggone money.
Now I see them honestly, especially if they're bringing back T, I see them more along the lines of like Unwizricky from Detroit. I think that's his name.
Levi.
Yeah, I could see that's what I feel like. Seems like more along the lines of what they will end up doing is grabbing a guy like that.
His pass rush grade was 64.7 on the season, but he is 26, so that one actually makes sense. BJ Hills was 64 pass rush grade, and he's 29.
Yeah. Yeah, I think honestly the free agency, most of the time I'm more of a more excited about the draft than anything, but I'm really excited about free agency with a new DC to see what they're going to do, because I think that's where we can kind of really see if there's a change in the tide, you know. But I'm trying not to get my hopes up at this point.
Yeah, my concern in general is like that they're not going to cut the guys we all expect them to cut. And KP brought this up earlier. KP, I don't know if you're still with us here.
I'm here.
But if we don't cut Sam Hubbard, what are we doing? That's $10 million that we could be spending on D-line and free agency. That's D tackle we're talking about.
I think to add on to that, I think the big thing I see with that, I think we all know through the history of the team and I think this is might be more of a Mike Brown thing where I could see where they do try to maybe hang on to Sam Hubbard just for the fact that maybe Mike Brown's fond of him. But I agree.
He better take a $9 million pay cut.
I'm not disagreeing there. Believe that. I am not disagreeing with that because the level of production hasn't justified 10 million a year. It clearly hasn't. But I could see
Yeah,
where there's that potential chance that I think every one
I
of us
want you to
agreed.
Go
What
ahead,
was
want
that,
you to
KP.
KP?
pause.
Go
I
ahead.
want you to pause on that thought. If they, man, I'm telling y'all, I'm thinking this through, and if they do this and they keep that guy, and then they trade away T Higgins or they don't re-sign him, I'm done, bro. This makes no damn sense, bro. If they do something that dumb, because they let Jesse Bates walk out the building without getting anything back. So if they let T Higgins walk out the building without getting anything back, but re-sign Sam Hubbard for sentimental value, you're not trying to win. You're not trying to win.
That is my one big fear with the new coaches is that they bring in guys that they think can develop people and say, okay, well that means they can make these guys we have better, and we can just roll with them. That is my fear. I feel like I'm afraid they're going to be like, well, hey, let's roll with Volson again because because we got the guy that
Damn,
can
Sam.
develop him. That's the stuff that terrifies me, and I don't want it to happen. But we'll see.
I thought I was the only one thinking like that. I'm glad I'm not. But man, that's one thing that frightens me, man. Don't you run these guys out here in front of that quarterback and then allow this man to get face planted like that again. And then you wondering if he can get back up.
I
And he
take
got
it
to
you're
go to
referring to. I take it you're referring to the Pittsburgh game, the
yeah,
second one.
where he had
Yeah,
to go into the tent. Where he had to go into the tent.
yeah.
I mean, if they can't play, they don't need to be on the field. I
They
mean,
were
that
the
that
two
just is what
worst
it is.
guards in the entire NFL. Like,
I
Yeah,
think the front office. I think the front office is full well aware. I, but I do think that there's going to be some type of change there. I think the one that's kind of the unclear point for me is whether or not Sam Hubbard remains with the team. I'm with Dale if they keep him on but have him go down to say a vet minimum. I'd be fine with that and move him to being a rotational piece, say on the goal line or certain packages that are
catch
meant to
touchdowns,
take it.
like Mike Vrabel. Catch touchdowns.
Hey, I'm with you. So, but I think that's what would have to happen for me to feel comfortable, because I know a lot of people are assuming right now, saying that hey, T's going to be back next year, but I'm of the point that until a deal has been announced and pen has been put to paper, these are all possibilities that we do have to consider.
Yeah. I think we lost Greg.
No,
I
we
think
didn't.
we
I'm still
go.
here.
All
Just letting
right.
everybody talk.
All right, Greg. We want to do full draft conversation. Where we want to go with this? Anthony, you still on your shit break? You going back to work?
I'm getting ready to go back to work, so I'm gonna jump off, guys. I just wanted to jump on here for a quick minute and give my thoughts like I normally do.
All right, you're the man, Anthony.
All
have a
right,
good one,
thank you.
G.
All right.
See you, brother. All right, Greg, you're in control.
I'm in control. I don't know anything about talking draft.
All right, we're gonna talk draft. Ryan,
Hey, play that link in the back. Can you play the link on the screen, or you can't play the one I gave you?
I don't think I can play it from where you gave it to me. I'd have to.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to see if he
But
can
hang
see Mike
on.
Green. He ain't seen Mike Green yet, man. You ain't seen Mike Green.
I don't know. He hasn't.
That's the future, man. I tell you what, they better not let no damn Baltimore or Cleveland get him.
Yeah.
Let me see here real quick. What are your thoughts on Mike Green, Ryan?
I mean, I have him firmly in day one. I have him in the top half of day one. Honestly, he's perfect at 17. Would not be upset at all. Would be excited if they took him at 17. So he's the type of guy to me that can be a game changer on the D line, especially on the opposite Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, love the idea of getting him on the team.
They got to get out of their comfort zone is one thing with how they view certain body types for edge.
Yep, he's my dream pick at 17. My nightmare is Michael
what
Williams.
What the hell?
Waiting.
See, that's the hard part. You start going to YouTube, KP, did not work out.
You might have to skip the ad in the background or something.
Yeah. All good. We'll just talk prospects. I'll put some links up. I got a whole clip out there of him. Hell, I might go to my Twitter while you guys talk. Ryan, continue talking, and then KP, talk about Mike Green a little more. I'll try to go to my Twitter and get I'll do not the Ohio State clip of him. The one I did, the other one he did, Southern Miss. It was pretty impressive. The
thing that Divine likes to talk about with him is the bend. You know, we don't have guys. We have a tendency to grab those power guys that don't have a ton of bend around the edge, and that's what Mike Green is. You know, their prototypical guy is that Michael Williams out of Georgia. That's like I said again, that is my nightmare pick. It's not what I want. But Mike Green is the exact opposite of what we always get, and I think that's exactly why we should get him.
Yeah, like I say, I haven't read too much on the draft, but like Divine and what you just say now, Ryan. I mean, Green. I mean, like if it came down between Grant and Green, I still might say Grant, but Green, I will not complain about. I mean, the spin move, I think Divine compared to Dwight Freeney. I'm like, if you could find me another Dwight Freeney spin move, I'm taking that 100% right there. Right?
Yeah, the reason I lean Green round one over Grant is because I feel like there's not as big of a drop off from the D tackles that you can get in round one versus round two, whereas there's not going to be a Mike Green in round two. So.
Right, exactly. No, it's a deep DD class, and that's what you want, especially for the Bengals this year. Absolutely. But just judging by the past, you know, Bengals like big school. Oh yeah, they like to draft Michigan. If I had to guess right now, I mean, I want Green. I'm on the Green train over Grant, but if I had to guess right now, they would definitely take Grant over Green. Man.
I mean, if I had to guess right now, it's going to end up being like Jack Sawyer, but.
Yeah, no, I like Jack Sawyer, and you know, he did great in the playoffs, but. I don't know. Jack Sawyer, I just don't know. Definitely not for round one, in my opinion. But
yeah,
what do you think?
I like him as an overall player. I do think he's still worth a first round pick. I just don't see him as I don't think he has the chance to be like a top guy in the league. Whereas
not a top pass rusher.
Yeah, not a top pass rusher. Whereas I think Mike Green can be.
I agree. And so here's this one from KP. You still with me?
KP?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna pop this up. I'm gonna be on the other screen, so I won't be able to see what's going on our screen. But here's Mike Green versus Southern Miss, and it's just a minute of some of his clips. I like to clip stuff up on the All 22, so I did this a couple weeks ago. And pretty damn impressive to me. You guys be the judge of it, Brew Crew.
Sheesh.
He's good against the run, too.
Oh, wow. Oof.
His first step is so quick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he speeds up quickly. Oh, my gosh. Oof.
That spin move. There was that spin move.
There that is. Wow.
The thing that I have that Miles Murphy needs to work on is like disengaging from the block, right?
Right.
He does not have that issue. He's really good at disengaging.
Well, I mean, and look how he kind of jukes outside. He still does not lose speed at all or anything. He's still like when he like jukes out or oh my gosh.
And look at the effort.
Yeah.
So this will play it. I'll play it one more time. I don't know. This is why it's hard for me to say this guy isn't a top 15 talent in this draft.
Wow. I think he's going to rise up, and if his combine is good, I think he could be long gone before we pick.
Well, he's going to be at the Senior Bowl, so let him go up against these studs at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
That's true.
I could see him. There are a flurry of teams before us that need edge help. I could see him going before we get the pick.
Oh my God! And when he hits someone, he lets you know that he hits you. Wow.
I mean, to me, that's pretty damn special.
Yeah,
It's pretty special tape. Like,
Yeah, either you have it or you don't, and that guy has it.
so there's some Mike Green, because KP, I know you wanted some Mike Green on there, and I clip a lot of things up, man. Once again, I'm going to suck my own dick here, and I'm going to say clip a lot of stuff up. I do the draft guide. I put a lot of time and effort into this, so I'm not just bullshit when I talk about a guy,
5 out of 10, Brian Foster.
Who's some other edges that you guys like that could be in the Bengals range? For me, it's James Pierce, but he's not for everybody. He's a little light.
Talk to me about that. Who's the guy from A&M?
Scorton.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about him.
Well, there's two. There's Scorton, and then there's Shamar Stewart. And I'm not super high on either of them.
No,
Okay.
I don't have either one of them as. I mean, I guess I could see Scorton being later in round 1, but I don't have Shamar Stewart round 1.
Yeah, Dane Brugler though, and Dane Brugler's the GOAT.
Yep.
He knows a lot of stuff. He's got him as like a top 10-ish player for traits,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I saw that too.
a sack and a half, production matters to me. I don't see it with the production.
Yeah. Hey, Dale, so you brought up Senior Bowl. Is it okay if I switch to the other side of the trenches about I texted you about him. You okay if I talk about a guy from the offensive line that I like?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, who is so the one that really caught my attention, obviously the knock on him is the small school. The guy from William and Mary, I believe I texted you about him. I really like him a lot. I mean, small school or not, I mean, he is shown very well talent from what I've read in your draft guide about him.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Charles Grant.
Yes.
He'll be at the Senior Bowl too, so it's like I need to see it there. I need to see it more than I need to see it from Mike Green. Mike Green is still playing NCAA 1 division over, I need to see you go out there and dominate when you play Division 2. Like Quinn Miners is out there dominating with the damn tank top or whatever.
Right, exactly. Like I was just looking through, obviously Georgia. Boy, I tell you, Georgia, man, I think they are going to have a 7-foot lineman. I mean, there's a couple guys from Georgia, but then that guy from William and Mary, I'm like, wow, he just really caught my attention. But like you say, Dale, I think you could argue he's one of the most important players in that Senior Bowl. He's really going to be, because the Senior Bowl, that's very important for the small school guys to be like, okay, how's he going to do against big level competition?
Yeah, it's important for everybody, but it's even more important for them.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see what he can do.
Yeah, I have him currently just off of, like, what I have seen and all of the, like, metrics and stuff, like his pass block efficiency, things like that. I have him pretty high on my board, but I wanted to, like, it's going to be dependent on that Senior Bowl. If he goes out there and does well against in the Senior Bowl, absolutely, I could see him going pretty high. I could see him going second round, honestly. I like him a lot. There's a lot of small school guys that I like this year. I don't have I'm on my phone, so I don't have can't really pull up all my stuff, but I know there's Carson Vinson's a guy that I think it's going to be at the Senior Bowl that I'd like to see how
Alabama
he does.
A&M.
Yeah,
guard/tackle.
Yep. So there's a lot. There's so many. It feels like this year there's so many like standout small school guys that I'm super interested in to see how they play. And luckily, like I I teach, and I don't have a lot on my plate. I'm not teaching any lessons next week, so I'm gonna have the Senior Bowl up as much as I can.
So here's the guy who's mocked to us a lot, and like literally from this game, I have 19 seconds. That's it. I had a full minute for Mike Green. I usually can get a full 45 seconds a minute of things. I couldn't get much from Michael Williams. So Michael Williams, number 13 for Georgia Eds, is mocked to us a lot. He's a top 10 player on the consensus boards, and I just don't see it. You guys, I will play this clip, and you guys tell me what you see that makes him. And these are highlights, by the way, because most of the time he's just getting shedded.
He's a guy that he seems like he's one of those guys that's like ultra gifted, so he tries to win with traits.
Yeah.
Right? Like
no technique. When
no.
he gets blocked, because most of the time he was just blocked and there was nothing. So there's basically nothing here. I wish I had more to give you guys.
No, I mean, like he doesn't have a lot of good tape. Most of the tape that I've seen, it's just that. Like he tries to win with his gifts. He doesn't try to win with any technique. So like,
and he doesn't have pass rush moves. He doesn't. Like we don't need a guy that we need to develop. Is my thought.
Yeah,
like
definitely not in round one.
Fuzzy balls to get a great interior D line, shutting down other teams' ability, draining the clock on. So all right, next thing I'll post up from my Twitter here, from stuff I've clipped up. I'll find that and I'll come back, but. Talk about your feelings on Kenneth Grant, because that's who I'm going to pop up next. D-tackle.
So I think he's going to test like a freak, right? I mean, he is a mammoth of a human. So what I want to see is he going to translate outside of Michigan? Because like, he wasn't like on the field all the time. They had such a deep team that's my fear. And I know I don't know. I have a tendency to kind of be a little worried sometimes when it's on a loaded front. Because their team was so good on the front that it makes it really hard to know if it's going to translate when he doesn't have that same talent around him. But I personally would be down to take him. I think I saw gridiron grading was a little lower on him.
Because a lot of that is PFF, and it's a 14-something pass rush win rate. Yeah. That's why I watch the fucking tape, and I say, this guy's 340, so he's a monster against the run, but I see the traits for a pass rush. That's the only reason. Like, I'm hyping this guy so much because I believe in him. I could be wrong. He could wash out of the league. When you're 340, there's always a chance anyways.
I think he's probably got the highest ceiling of any, like without question. I don't know about his floor. So I think he is closer to a boomer bust type, but I would be comfortable from what I've seen. I would be comfortable taking him in at 17 without question. So,
I'll get this before I pop the clip up and go back because I got to be on a different screen. But I try to pop back and forth. That's why my face isn't on here. I know y'all love my face. Would you say Kenneth Grant is a better prospect than Devondre Sweat? I wouldn't but it's close. Devondre Sweat was a better pass rusher, like more consistent pass rush, even for his size. But Devondre Sweat scared the hell out of me for the off-field stuff and for the effort stuff. And what pops up to me is Kenneth Grant's effort. So talent-wise, would I say who's the better prospect? I would say Devondre Sweat. Intangibles, potential, and don't want to make the same mistake. He has no off-field concerns as far as I know. I would go Kenneth Grant. Like I think he's that good. He's going to be a run stuffer, but he's going to push the pocket. Am I crazy for saying that? Like,
No,
who
I
would
don't
you
think
go with,
so.
Ryan?
You're not crazy. No.
Yeah, no, like he definitely does. You can see his he's given 100 every single snap. Like you can tell. Like a lot of times you see guys take off plays. He does not look like he takes off plays.
No, I seen him chase people down. This man is 340. I seen him. I think it's on here where he pushes the quarterback out of bounds, and I'm like, what are you even doing?
That's why I'm so interested in his testing because
Yes,
it seems absurd the speed at which a person that size is moving at
Yes.
times. So, like honestly, if he tests the way he could test, he might not be there at 17 either.
So I'm gonna be honest. This is 2 games. It's 2 games clipped together. Because I was told that he is not it at all. He is not it, and I'm still gonna stand on my evaluation and what I see. So I clipped 2 games together here, and I'm gonna play it. And I'm going to see what you guys think. One was in a win against Illinois, and one was in a loss against Texas. And see what you guys think of these clips.
The first move.
Yeah, like, boom. He's pushing that pocket, you know.
Yeah. I mean, he's disruptive. Even if he doesn't get a sack or anything.
He's I don't think 340 guys that are 340 should
That's
move that way.
340. Oh my gosh.
This is when, that's him.
Yeah,
pushing
that play,
the quarterback out of bounds.
The thing that was interesting about that play, is, he kind of got beat. Like he wasn't getting pressure, but he did not stop.
Yes. Like, because you always gonna question a guy's motor when they're that size.
Yeah.
And he destroyed that whole play. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Back in coverage. Let's go.
Yeah, that one blew my mind. I had to put it in there.
Yeah, he literally moves almost as fast as Geno Atkins did. Geno Atkins was like 6'2", and this, oh my gosh.
He's always
that was crazy.
Like, and he bats a lot of passes down. He's good with timing, and that is important on the D line for me.
Yeah, he's good at getting the hands off him too.
There's 3 guys there. He's still pushing.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are like, I don't see it with him. And I'm like, are you only looking at the PFF pass rush grade?
Oh my God.
Because tell me that you don't see it, guys.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I do. It could be my Michigan bias. It's, that makes me a little
Ohio
hesitant.
State fan.
I know.
I
I
want
am
to
too.
have this bias.
I am too, but I would be completely comfortable with him at 17. I mean, I don't know. I am still somewhat of the opinion that I am expecting a trade back because I think they're going to want more picks.
Which they could get him for. They could get a 3rd rounder from Trey Brown if he gets.
That'd be nice if that happens.
It'd be nice for us draft guys. I don't know how nice it would be for like another person not named not a white Brown in the family making decisions.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I can't watch that Kenneth Grant tape. Yeah. And I've watched so many games now and clipped them because it's like I already watched them. And then it's like I'll clip them then, And I'm like, I just can't. I can't not see the potential, the talent,
Well, if you're watching that with the thought in mind that the dude is the size that he is, like 6'4", right? 340.
Yeah, 6'3", 6'4", and 339.
If you keep that in mind while watching that, it changes your view of it because it shouldn't. it shouldn't look that way at that size.
It's wild. KP, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'll take Grant. If you
Yeah.
take Grant, it frees up Jackson to rush the passer more than Jenkins because I think Jackson is a better pass rusher than Jenkins is, and Jenkins ever will be.
Do you guys think Jackson should drop some pounds now because he's had to play zero tech at Texas A&M, and I almost felt like he slimmed down some for the Bengals, and he looked quick. I think he's almost a more natural. I think Jenkins should gain weight and he should lose weight. I think.
Yeah. Well, no. Look, I got a better question to ask you guys. Who were you guys more impressed with, Jackson or Jenkins? Because Jackson, I like Jenkins. He did great, but Jackson impressed me a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, he showed me more pass rush than I was expecting from him, and that's where I was going to answer your question, Dale. I would, especially if we're switching more towards like a 3-4, right? If we're switching
doesn't
more,
sound like it. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds
No.
like same base defense, and then 12 personnel. We're going 4-3. He doesn't say nothing about 3-4.
Okay, because like that was my thought. Like the thought of having a slim down Jackson on one side of Grant, with Grant being in the middle, would be really nice. But either way, I think that
those two beside each other on a third
Yeah.
down, I think could be fun.
Yeah, I definitely think if Jackson could slim down a little bit, get a little bit more juice to his pass rush, I think that could be where he ends up falling in. Everybody was thinking, that's the guy we're drafting for our run stopping.
Yeah.
But Jenkins is a better run stopper.
Yeah. Well, and his and that's what I didn't see on tape for him his last year at A&M. The year before, he had like 5.5 sacks.
Yeah.
Like I seen the explosiveness. I seen what he was. That's why I'm not completely giving up on Shamar Turner. Texas A&M is very weird.
Yeah,
that's probably why a lot of people are
it
high
is.
on Shamar Stewart, to be fair.
Yeah, they get a lot of talent, but it seems like they don't develop them. That's what it seems
It's
like.
it's not just develop KP. They move them around so much, and they don't let them just be what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, because I think Grant next to Mason, Grant is taking up two people every time.
Yeah.
So Mason's going one-on-one. Mason's not going to see any one-on-ones when he gets to the league.
Yeah, KP. I was just thinking about that because when I saw the highlights and like you said, KP, he's taking up two guys. I'm like, well, no wonder Mason's playing so well.
Well, I've had that question asked to me more than anything is how much is Mason Graham making Kenneth Grant look good to you? And I'm like, not at all. I literally don't watch Mason Graham. I watch this one guy. I clip up this one guy. I hope you guys seen that in my clips.
Yeah, I think Mason Graham's going to be a nice player.
I do too. It's not a knock on Mason Graham. I'm sure
No.
I could clip up Mason Graham and he would have some good wins, but I look at each of those players differently.
Yeah,
separately.
Graham probably needs to play in a cover 2 scheme, more like a Warren Sapp type of player. More so like that. And Grant is more so like what DJ Reader was for us. And by having Grant next to Grant, could you imagine DJ Reader next to Warren Sapp? Man, that would be nuts. So that's what we're kind of looking at when you're looking at Michigan. But then think about it. They had a platoon. They had those two guys with Jenkins with them last year. Yeah. Just those three guys is NFL level guys that's going to play in the league for over 10 years.
And Graham was hurt most of the year, to be fair. He didn't even play. Mm-hmm. So it was no pass rush, Chris Jenkins and Kenneth Grant. And they made it to the playoffs. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do come free agency because, it's I like talking the draft as much as anybody, but this free agency is going to be such a big part. Like, if we have a 2021 type free agency where we hit on all these guys, because that's when we got Awuzie, Hilton, Ogunjobi, Hendrickson, got all these guys that year, and almost all of them were hits. And then last year, it was all foul balls into our own nuts, like
Except for Gesicki.
yeah, I mean, except for yeah. But on the defensive side of things, it's just like yikes. So you got to correct some of that stuff this year.
Well, also, I think it will start before that. Sorry, Greg, to cut you off there. But
No,
I
it's
think
okay.
it will start before that because I think we'll know a lot if they make the cuts that we all assume they're going to cut
Mm-hmm.
to have the salary cap. Because once you get that salary cap, I'm sorry, I don't care. You can re-sign Chase, you can re-sign Higgins. Salary structure, this, that, and the other, it's not going to affect much of what you already had planned for your money for that season.
Yeah.
On the salary cap. So if you free up 40-50 million between Kappa, between Hubbard, and between Rankins, you can free up 30-some million right there alone.
That's 30. That's like 30 right there.
Yeah.
And then potentially Stone. And then I don't think Zach Moss will be back.
Me neither.
No.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, so Ryan and KP, I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Mike Gesicki, a great year. I mean, you look at Hayden Hurst and C.J. Uzama, Gesicki, way better than those two, and both those guys got big raises. I'm just scared that. I mean, obviously Gesicki you have to get back. We need to get Gesicki back, but I mean, I could see some team out there offering Gesicki. I mean, we paid Gesicki like what, 1 year, $2 or $3 million. I could see some team saying, "Hey, we'll give you 2 or 3 years." Almost $10 million a year. Am I crazy to think that?
You're not crazy to think it, and that's my fear with him. I would love him back at the right price. I'm not paying, $7-8 million for him, in my opinion. He doesn't provide enough outside of the pass catching ability to do that. Whereas there's a lot of guys in this draft that could do that. And I don't necessarily want to spend, unless they get extra picks, I don't really want to spend a pick on a tight end as much as I love some of my tight end guys this year. But yeah, I wouldn't. I'm hoping that it ends up being, like a $3-4 million deal to stay with us for another year or two. Because what was it? AJ Green was on another show the other day. He was like, you take, you don't leave a quarterback like that.
Yeah, and Gesicki has made it clear he won. And when he was with the Dolphins, there was that tight end that wanted to play with Joe Burrow, and that was him.
Yeah,
he wanted to play with Joe Burrow so badly. He says he likes it here. Of course, you see a lot of players say, "Hey, I like it here," but I mean, and you can't blame him if he gets a decent offer from somewhere else. You can't blame him.
Yeah, no, you can't at all.
But you also look at Hayden Hurst. When he signed that big deal with the Panthers, I think in the middle of the season, he's like, "Get me the hell out of here!" Right? Exactly. KP, what's your take on Gesicki?
I think they need to bring him back. I mean, it's not going to cost them too much. They're not paying anybody on defense. Who are they paying on defense besides Trey Henderson? And now, see how everybody's face? They're not paying anybody, man. So I don't want to hear an excuse, man. I just watched the Philadelphia Eagles pay 2 wide receivers, a running back, a quarterback, and whatever they paying their offensive line. Because we see their offensive line move everybody around.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, for me, I'm bringing Gesicki. I'm bringing T. I'm getting at least 1, if not 2 guards in free agency. I'm getting a D tackle in free agency, and then I'm rolling into the draft. If you want to throw a safety in there, cool.
Facts, Ryan. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Ryan, we just watched Dalton Risner get $1 million for the Vikings, yet they couldn't pick him to get
crazy
in front of Cal Barbosa.
KP,
And then we also watched Tierra Tart get $1 million. Go over the cap. He got $1 million, but we couldn't sign him.
Go get me Will Freeze and get me Kevin Zeitler. Yeah, I know those are short term, but then I'm going to draft a guy too.
Yeah. Kevin Zeitler, by the way, from what I was told, he wanted to come back here. I was so mad. He was ready to sign back with the Bengals, but they lowballed him, and the Ravens that year gave him – it was only by a couple $1 million. Can you imagine our Super Bowl year, we lost out on Kevin Zeitler, and that would have made a big difference on our offense.
That would have been enough time for that deep ball for the Super Bowl. So,
hey, yeah, I think we would have had a lot more faith than who was it that what was who was it from
Quentin
Kansas?
Spain.
Not Spain. Who was the other guy we drafted out of Kansas in the 6th round? Who I liked a lot.
Adeniji.
Yeah.
Deniji, yeah.
I had to come back in just to say Adeniji.
A lot more faith in Zeitler than Adeniji, I can tell you that.
All right, I got one more that I'll pop up here because this guy, I guess.
Was that Norman Lott?
Yeah. So, pass rush win rate highest in all of football, but I'm so pissed off at Tennessee for not giving this guy more snaps. Like he still was productive in his snaps, but even against Ohio State, and I'm an Ohio State fan, it's like, what the hell are we doing?
He's a defensive tackle, right?
Yeah, defensive tackle. He's so good. So I want to play this one, and then we'll discuss it. Whatever, we'll discuss him because I think, man, it's like he was fringe first round guy halfway through the year, and then he got less and less. Like he just didn't play enough. it
didn't make sense. I couldn't I was trying to watch because my wife's family's from Tennessee. They're Tennessee fans. I'm like, why are they not getting this guy in the game more? He makes such an impact when he's in there.
Stacking Chad, boom. Yep. Look at that quickness in the gap. Like,
isn't that's Alabama? A lot of those guys
this is
playing on Sundays real soon.
Yeah,
I tell you what, man. The first thing I see is quick hands. The hands he's got. Oh my gosh.
He had one of the worst missed tackle rates. So he did. He's got to get better at finishing. And this is playing it a second time. I'll let it go through one more time. It's ridiculous because he just doesn't play a lot of snaps.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that, I could see sliding down the boards a little bit just because he doesn't have the college, snaps and didn't get as much play time. And then everyone's like, wow, I don't know where he came from. How did he do so well?
So, what, maybe the 4th round, maybe?
Oh, I know. I think if I'm being completely honest, I expect him to be gone by pick 49. But I would love to get him at 49.
Yeah, and if you go to NFL mock draft database, I'm getting him in the 3rd a lot, and I'm like, come on, that's a joke, I'll take him because I'm like, this makes my mock draft look good. But I agree with you, Ryan. I think he's gone by pick 49.
Yeah, I think he makes sense anywhere between 28 to 45, that range. Because his upside, I think, is through the roof.
Well,
that Norman Lott?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Coaches are going to see that talent too. Go ahead, KP.
I said that's Norman Lott, right?
Yeah. How do you guys feel about James Pierce? I'm not going to post any more clips up here. Gotta save a little meat on the bone for another show. But
I like James Pierce. I'm not exactly sure if he fits well in a 4-3. He's more of a stand-up outside linebacker, I think. But I think he could be a very good pass rusher as well. So we'll see with him.
I like him. I wish he had more production this season.
Yeah.
I do think he's an edge, but he does need to put on about 5-10 pounds of good weight, That's my opinion on him. So here's a question from Naughty. Two Slurp. How would y'all feel if we traded Trey and T and got a haul for both of them? No. I take the proven commodity every day. How about you?
And I don't think the haul is going to be the haul you think it is, unfortunately.
No.
So
everybody acts like, we get a first for trade. No, maybe at the very most you'd be lucky to get what? What do you think, right? A 4th or something?
I could, depending on the team. I mean, I could maybe see a 2nd would be the most you could get for Trey. Maybe a 2nd and a day 3 pick. But I don't see the Bengals wouldn't let him go for less than a first, I don't think. And I don't think you're going to get that.
Well, it's like,
And
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say with T, same thing. He doesn't have any time left. He's a free agent. So, like, the only way we're trading him is if we tag him. So that, they're having to pay him a new contract right away. And same with him. So I don't think you're going to get a first for him. I know I got into like a little bit of an argument on Twitter about that with somebody because he's a young, talented guy and he's the best guy available. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean like if they know we have to trade him because we don't have the money and we're not going to be able to sign him, then that's where it comes in. What leverage do we have?
Exactly.
Right, exactly. And like Mike Brown, he had an old saying: "We're not out to make other teams better." I mean,
Yeah.
He's not just going to trade someone. I mean, I'll give him some credit. The year we traded Carson Palmer, who retired. I mean, we got a first and a second, an early second round pick. I mean, I'll give him credit for that. But yeah, he is not out to make any trades unless.
But it could come to that, Greg. It could come to that. Like I could see Trey saying, "Well, I'm retiring if you don't give me a contract." This I don't want it to come to that. As a Bengals fan,
I get what you're saying, Dale.
I say just pay that man his money.
My view of it is like I saw a projection on PFF that for Higgins, $28 million a year for 4 years. I'm with that. Go ahead. That's perfect for me. And then you give if you give Trey like a 2-year extension and make those 2 years $30 million per year, it ends up making him right around the 4th or 5th highest if you go average annual value between the 3 remaining years on his deal. That's perfect. It is doable money wise. It's doable to extend all 3 of them. And I'm like, we don't really have any young guys besides them coming up.
Who are we paying? Yeah, Jake Lisko said that the other day. Who are we paying if we're not going to pay these?
Giving a max contract of Olsen, like.
Well, no,
KP.
Ryan,
Well, I was going to say if KP was still with us, his thoughts on T and Trey, and if we trade either one, extend him, what he would want to do with that.
No, you got to pay him. You don't have any choice. They ain't not paying anybody else.
Yeah. All right, KP, we're going to let you out of here, brother. All right, he's out. Just like that. Fuzzy balls. Tag player can reject any trade offer. That's important, too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't get to that. It would be elite if they announced 1 and 5 on the same day.
It would.
It would break Twitter. I would tell my boss like, hey, I need to take the rest of the day because I'd be in spaces the rest of the day. Yeah, it would be insane. To me, it's one of those things. If they all have said they've all said the right things that make us seem like they're going to do a little bit on their end to try to make it work.
He did it too with getting rid of Mulligata.
Yes,
he
did.
Yeah, that was the thing. When that happened, I was like, okay, they could be serious about, maybe taking a little less or being okay with less. I don't know that he'll necessarily take a ton less annual value, but he may be okay with that. Yeah. He may be okay with less of that guaranteed upfront money because he knows that the Bengals, you're going to get it most likely.
Right, exactly. And I'm trying to think. Like when Steve, because I'm sure you can relate to me, Ryan. When Steve was with Mulligata, I'm like, okay, 0% chance this happens, or me being nice is 1%.
5%.
Yeah, 5%. But like when he got rid of his agent and hired Chase's agent, that immediately to me boosted up to 51%.
Yeah.
I would say I'm still thinking like 30, but then Joe started talking. When Joe starts talking, everyone should listen.
Yeah, everyone should listen. And here's the thing: whether you're for or against keeping T, here's the team I'm on: keep Joe happy.
Yep.
Man, Fuzzy, if that's true, if he would take 5 for $125,
I would do that today. Are you kidding me? I'd make that fully guaranteed.
Let's go. Yeah.
I mean, Michael Pittman got 3 for 70, and that's what I wanted to do 2 years ago. I wanted to do 3 years, 75 million, 25 per. Hey, we don't have to worry about franchise tag. We don't have to worry about any of this, and he's happy.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to do 2 years ago.
yep. If they would have done that then, the we would have another 20 million right now to play with because of the way that structure could have worked out. They could have front loaded that, and we messed up already. It is what it is, but it's not like the cap's going to continue to go up. We're going to have money, so just sign the guys that you know you have. You're in this thing with Joe Burrow. You have the chance.
You've got a chance every year.
Yeah, you cannot literally with the defense that we had this year before week 12 when we put players that were producing in. That team should not have won a game. Joe Burrow is dragging this dead corpse of a defense into these games. Because I was at the Baltimore game in Baltimore, and I'm watching that game. We should not be in this. We should not have a chance in this game. But Joe Burrow's Joe Burrow. You cannot let this. Can't let it pass. I'll be devastated if they don't do what's right to get us a win with him because he's the best quarterback of my lifetime for sure.
And Ryan, you look at Pittsburgh and you look at I thought with Minnesota they had it with Darnold, but last couple of games he struggled. Can you imagine if Minnesota had Joe Burrow right now? They would have had the receivers.
Yeah.
He had the defense. I mean, you look at all these teams that have everything in place, but they don't have that quarterback, and they're looking at the Bengals like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
We will spend everything because we have you, and that's what the Bengals' mindset should be.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's without question, it's the right thing to do. It's a smart thing to do. You don't even because with the DC hire, I wasn't there with y'all talking about that earlier, but the thing that makes me confident with that is we don't even need a top 10 defense.
Yeah, average.
If I was looking at the numbers on the points per game, I was literally if we had the 21st ranked defense this year, we would have probably had 11 wins.
Yeah, no. When even though it wasn't Graham, when I found out Graham most of his games was giving up 20 points or less a game, I'm like, are you kidding me? We could have easily been 13, and that would have easily 13 wins, right?
Yeah, and the Raiders had no offense, so I was all in on him too.
I'm happy with. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy with Golden, and like you said, Ryan,
wait and see.
We are not asking him give me a top 5 defense, not even top 15. It doesn't even have to be average. Even if it's
20th wins us the Super Bowl.
Yep,
yes!
We were 18th when we went to the Super Bowl. That's what's crazy. Is people are you carry by your defense. I was yeah, you guys remember some big turnovers, cool, but you also need to remember Joe Burrow getting sacked 9 times and still dotting people up all day. So
that's a good point, Fuzzy. Joe, 5 years with Jamar, back to college, back to that year with him in college. And then he also has 5 years with T. These are his guys. He knows what this offense is. And we saw what this offense is with them all knowing exactly what they want to do. Even Yoshi, I'll throw him in, Greg, for you because I know you love him.
Yeah. Ryan,
but that's another reason bring back Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, Ryan, I don't know how you're familiar with me with Yoshi. I'm probably the biggest Yoshi.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone knows Greg. It's
okay, just making sure, Ryan.
Yoshi's your DeFoncha Maxwell. So.
Exactly.
Yoshi's your most guys Sidney Sweeney.
Exactly. Yoshi, and so I thought Yoshi was going to take a big leap. I was ready to say, hey, I'm willing to let T go and see what Yoshi can do. Yoshi did not have a bad year. He still got you 6 touchdowns.
Don't put that on him.
What?
Don't put all that on him.
No, I'm not.
Yoshi
still had a good year, but Yoshi, he just proved he's not that number 2 receiver, and that's okay. That's okay. You could argue Yoshi, he's the 4th target behind Chase, Higgins, and Gesicki, and that's fine. If my fourth target is giving me 6 touchdowns and around 500 yards receiving, that is damn good right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also really want to see us, find the right running back 2 to pair with Chase Brown.
Well, I think Herbert could be that guy, but
Herbert could be, for
then
sure.
you need a 3. You need a bruiser. You need
that's
short yardage.
I don't know if he'll come out, and I don't know if we would. I think we would probably have to spend too high of a pick, but Quinshon Judkins, obviously, it would be insane.
I'm all in on my day 3 guys. My Damian Martinez, my Taj Brooks, my
Taj Brooks. Taj Brooks was real high on my draft board last year before he went back.
Yep.
I like him a lot. I think he could be a really good fit, honestly, especially that late day 3 guy. Honestly,
and Khalil Mullings, Michigan. You're a Michigan man.
Yeah. No.
We'll take a former linebacker to.
Well, right. Another thing we talked about is, so say if our running backs was this, we had Brown, Herbert, and what if you got P. Ryan back as your third guy, or would you rather go young? I mean, I personally would be okay with that, but would you rather go young? Yeah.
I mean, I'm more of a fan of going young, but I'm fine with P. Ryan. Like, if P. Ryan wants to come back on a vet minimum, let's go.
Well, I would go young, and here's the reason. Because I think if you get Herbert back, it's another 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you get that young guy and he shows flashes, that young guy's here for 4 minimum.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like 30 guys that I would say are draftable this year.
It's a good running, very
I
good
running. I don't know that 30. I don't know that 30 will be drafted.
No, it won't. The average is 20. I've done I do this.
So there's gonna be guys that are UDFAs that end up making rosters because there's so many. Like, this draft is wild. That's why I could see Quinshon Judkins going back for that reason. We'll see, like the last.
Not after that title game. I thought maybe before the title game, 3 tutties, 100 yards on 11. I'm like, he going.
Well, Ryan, so I was a big fan of Kendall Milton coming out of college.
Yeah, I knew you were going to. I was about to toss it to you.
I got to bring this up. I mean, because when I looked at Dale's draft guide, I'm looking at, I'm going to look at undrafted guys or whatever. And I'm like, well, Milton, he split carries at Georgia. So he's going to have plenty, that's perfect right there. And he is a bruiser. And I'm like, spend a late pick on this guy right here.
I wish they would have shown us anything.
Yeah. That's my thing is I was like, I like Kendall Milton. I don't know that the Bengals like him as much because if not, he would have got more. He would have gotten some more run there towards the end.
Because there was opportunity. There was opportunities literally when he was in on the goal line and they didn't have it to him.
Yep. But I do like him. I would be comfortable giving him a shot. But yeah, I think they'll bring in somebody. There's going to be
might be undrafted. It might be an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bruiser and Kendall Milton and him are fighting for running back 3. I'm good with that. If they got a good, if Herbert comes back, I'm good with it.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that too. But Travion Williams, I was a big fan of him, but is it just time to move on from Travion?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No point in wasting us, but
there's nothing wrong.
He's a great guy, did a lot of good stuff in the community. But time to move on.
It's like respect your service.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of, Ryan, respect your service.
Hey,
military guy right here.
Thank you for serving.
Hey, no problem.
What we're doing with Project Game Day is pretty great.
It is. That is I've talked to those guys a little bit, told them like, hey, I don't know if and when I'm going to get to move back to Cincinnati, but if I do, that's going to be the thing that I want to get involved in, whatever I can do to help.
Well, you're in. Because I will say Ryan's in because me and you talk a lot. I mean, not face to face like this, but through Twitter and stuff. And I just
it's such an awesome thing
right
to
here.
do.
Ryan Sparks, shout out your Twitter handle too.
Yeah, it's just at Ryan Dio Sparks. So the tag right now is the Cincinnati Sparks, which is my shadow team name. But I even made a nice little logo this year with some Skyline chili and the Sparks logo.
But
So
this guy,
we're-
man, he's going to come on this show a lot more, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say, Ryan, I kept wanting to hear your take on this. So, Ryan, where are you living at right now, Ryan?
I'm in right outside DC. I'm in between DC and Baltimore.
Okay. You're not that. Oh, you're in Baltimore. Okay.
Yeah, it is wildly enjoyable.
I
Trolling
bet it
Baltimore
is.
fans all the
Hey,
time.
well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what? Let me ask you this, Ryan. Do you feel bad? I'm going to get knocked for asking. Do you feel bad for Mark Andrews?
As a human, sure.
Yes.
As a Bengals fan, nope.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, man.
not
It's
the
just-
slightest. And if they cut him, bring him on in.
Yeah, bring him here. I'll take him. They want to get rid of him. I'll take Mark Andrews, so we don't have to play him anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They cut him. It's like, we got you, Mark.
Yeah,
Come play with a guy that puts the ball where it needs to be every time.
exactly.
Oh, he'd be
Yeah.
so good here, too.
Oh, it would be
Absolutely.
unreal.
Mark Andrews. I mean, as much as Lamar's driven me nuts, Mark Andrews every single game. he
Yeah.
drove me
Well,
nuts.
but that's a testament to how good of players they are. Like,
yes.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
he's Gunnar Helms, my my Mark Andrews guy this year. That's a guy I
Oh.
think could be insane in the draft.
I don't even think it's like a reach, you know. Like, I don't even think that's a bold prediction, Ryan.
No.
Because he's the top 5 tight end for me, too.
Yep.
Right.
I've got him, Warren, Fannin. You know, Fannon's less of a blocker, but he's just such an insane weapon. Loveland, and then I can't remember who my fifth one is.
Mason Taylor.
I can't remember if it's Mason Taylor or if it's
Arroyo?
Rondé Gadsden, maybe. Arroyo's up there too. I've got a lot of guys.
Arroyo's
would
my
consider.
6th. You know, like I was listening to the one podcast with like the one dude does PFF, the one NBC Sports, and it's like, oh, it's big surprise for top 5. One of them had 6 and 5. I'm like, bro, I've had Arroyo 6 for like a month and a half.
Yeah, I think he's 7 on mine. But he's ask Divine about him. Divine loves him.
Who?
Arroyo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sure everything will be brought up tomorrow when Divine's on.
Oh, I'm excited. I work, so I'll be probably popping it on while my students are working on some stuff in the back of the classroom. So like, yeah, they It's annoying when they at the end of the day when I'm like, you should just be working on your stuff. Like, just let me listen to my podcast. Right?
Yeah, you're like, hey, it's independent study time. You all just, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, what was your Twitter name again? I'm trying to look you up here on Twitter.
Ryan D.O. Sparks.
Damn, Greg didn't even follow you. That's fucked up,
Oh,
Greg.
I am following you. My bad.
I
You're
thought he
both following
was.
each other. I'm sorry, Ryan. Okay,
That's
just
okay.
making
Damn, he just didn't give a shit about your opinions.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
He
Yeah,
probably
no,
muted
no,
you.
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
Sorry about that, bro.
Yeah.
Damn,
Well, hey,
Greg.
I gotta jump off here. My wife's almost
Me
home,
too.
so appreciate y'all.
Hey,
I'll
hey,
be-
first time, but
Yeah.
long
Hey, thank
time
you.
supporter, and I fucks with you.
yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, Ryan, and we'd love to have you on again. And thank you for serving, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time I'll try to have my computer up so I can have all my little stuff that I got. So
Let's do it.
Hey,
We'll
we're
schedule
happy to have
one.
you
We'll
on.
schedule one for the draft stuff.
okay, sounds good. Catch y'all later.
See you, brother.
See ya.
Good dude, man. This
That's
is Greg.
awesome,
I
man.
like it. This is what I love about the Brew
This-
Crew, man.
You just meet so many awesome. You just meet so many awesome other. It's just so awesome to connect with other Bengals fans. This is just so cool.
It's a good thing, man. It's a good community.
Absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
there's. I'll just open up. There's stuff that sometimes I deal with in life and all that and stuff, and this really helps me out at times. But I appreciate you for this deal.
Yeah, you wanted to do a show yesterday. I was like, bro, I ain't doing a show. And then Jeff, and I'm like, God damn it, Jeff. I was literally like,
Oh, so you do it today? I'm just kidding.
I did do a show with Jeff. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like,
No,
but
it's
I was
okay, Dan.
under my blanket because, like, but I took the girls out to eat because the electric went off. School was canceled because it was -4 degrees.
Do you
But
get
then
school
my
out tomorrow?
electric went off.
Oh, your
No,
electric
we had
went off
school
again?
today. No, we had no. Well, it actually did, but I was at work today.
Oh, okay.
The electric did go off again today, but Aurora was the only one home, my oldest daughter.
Right.
And it's like, like,
So what do you have school off tomorrow?
no.
Why not just call off tomorrow? I mean, you can't, dude. Sounds like you've been off of school like 70% of the time the last 2 weeks.
Bro, I had a meeting today. I had all kinds of shit, man. I'm boss hogging shit, man. Big dick in it.
There you go, man.
No, but I am thankful for this community. And honestly, I messaged you earlier. You were getting to get some glasses, looking hot as fuck as always.
Yeah,
Greg Luther, the BSG with that beard and the sexy glasses.
So yeah, I told Dale a couple of friends of mine this. Like, I was at a Bengals game one time, and I just get anxiety issues of going to doctors and I and all that and stuff sometimes. And I was at a Bengals game, and I'm like, I was at the Bengals Broncos game. I'm like, okay, something's not right here. I was testing my eye out. Oh, this eye's fine. I'm like, this eye's a little blurry. So I go to the eye doctor. Like, yeah, your vision has changed big time the last time you've been here. So when I like look at, and they
blind as fuck, motherfucker.
When they showed me the new lenses, like when they adjusted the lens on the little machine thing, I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. So yeah, I'm excited, man. Got some new pairs of glasses coming in.
And he is always sexy savage.
I don't know about that.
$1 million Bengal man. Marshall, man, I tell you what, he's always helping out. He's always good
around
dude
everywhere.
right there.
Oh,
good
dude, Marshall is. He's always out there. Anything you need help with, he's always there to help you.
Matt Walker, good fucking dude.
Good dude also, Matt is.
So basically, I'm putting you guys on the spot. You better be at this Midwest event, March 15th.
Yes.
Because I am nervous as hell for this, but I need
stop it, Dale. We'll be fine.
Oh,
Dale, you're going to be eating ribs most of the time and all that, man. I mean, so...
bullshit. I'm going to be nervous as hell. Let's be honest. Come on,
Dale.
Dale.
Stop it.
You ain't been around me for a live show. You weren't there. We did that one.
Dale, tomorrow's another day. We're at the Midwest Best Barbecue. You know the place. Tim and Nicole.
Good people. I always expect the worst to go wrong.
Well, Dale,
Dale.
You got us. We got Midwest Best. That's all we need, buddy.
KP, our brother coming in, man, came in on the show, but he says he may be blind, but he's seen the talent in Mike Green.
Yes, that is true.
He's fucking good, man.
Dude, KP, love to have you on again also, buddy.
Yes. This is what it's about, man. It's about
exactly,
community.
Matt.
Community, baby.
Hey, and the whole community, the community's coming, Dale. They have our backs. They're just happy to be there. That's all that matters, buddy.
For sure, man. Hey, you're right, Matt. You're right. All right. I ain't gonna get in my head about it. Because I get my head about it, I'll be like, Greg, I can't make it. Sorry.
No, I will drive down to your hit place and pick you up myself.
No, I'll be there.
Exactly, you will.
If the city and the Bengals don't work shit out, where would the Bengals move across the river in Kentucky?
You know what?
Lexington, man. I'd be like, maybe I'll move to Lexington.
No.
I'm already a Kentucky Wildcats basketball fan.
Right. I've been worried about this forever. So I went on Riley a day or two ago in Santori. Me and Santori have had huge conversations about this because he knows the economics and all this better than I do. Once Santori explains it, you'll feel a lot better. Also, what was the other news that came out? They're going to make more parking for Bengals games.
Well, they're tearing down the concrete.
Yeah, but they're tearing it down, and they're going to make it more parking. I mean, if you're trying to move, that's a hell of a way to be doing it right there.
It's something that was talked about with them and the Bengals years ago. But it's like, why y'all fucking, man? It's just like y'all just butting heads for no reason.
This is what
I just shit out.
Look, Dale, this is just what I see. If you're trying to move, why would you be wasting your time building a practice facility, redoing the whole locker room, renovating it, and coming out with the Ring of Honor? I mean, why would I be wasting my time with all that if I know I'm going to move? Am I right?
That's true. And also, as Lot 1 lizards, we ain't never moving.
Exactly. We ain't never moving.
You can put shit there, and we'll still stand on top of it like, we're the motherfucking Lot lizards.
Exactly. We good.
Hey, I don't need no rum, Jobu. Jobu offers rum and cigar. Good on the rum.
Absolutely,
Hold on,
buddy.
I think I got a little something in here for the cigar too. Oh yeah, I'm good, Jobu. But thank you for your offer. Jobu says the concrete plant was run by the mob.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about that.
Fuck you. Fuck them. What are they going to do? They going to come to Portsmouth? You going to come down to Portsmouth?
You don't come around my house, though, because I'm not too far from there, so don't say where I live, Dale.
Well, Greg Luther lives, I'll give you his address. Like, if you threaten me, I'll give you Greg's address. Greg Luther. That's his name. Nah, I don't give a fuck.
I'm kidding.
Probably do. Mob's weak as fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Fuck them. I don't give a fuck. I'm a grown man.
There you go.
Come find me.
Come find
Got something
me.
for you. Oh, Greg, is this where you live? He lives!
I live in a van down by the river.
Come find him. Come find him.
Find me.
And then he'll throw you in the ice. Fucking pussies. You don't fuck. The mob don't fuck with no fucking ice. Y'all making too much money.
I'll be wearing that Big Savage jersey. You come find me.
Yeah, come find him. And I'll be behind him. Fuck you. You want to fight it? Fuck you.
Oh, you like to be behind me all the time, Dale.
Oh, yeah. And also, well, that was gay. But they got to fight the meth heads first. That's true. Come find me in Portsmouth. I got a mafia of meth heads. Fucking suck my dick. Bitch. Bitches. Fuck you. I skirt. All right, we should probably end this one before I fuck up.
This is awesome, though, Dale.
Before I fucking piss off someone else. I'm good at that. I just don't give a fuck.
Hey, you've gone full savage.
I've gone full savage. That's what happens when you're on with the big savage, and then you go bigger savage, and then it's like, now I'm the boss savage. I'm the boss savage.
Exactly.
Hey, great show, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, Brew Crew. Y'all the best. Absolutely. Fucking life is short. Have fun. As always, we will be back tomorrow at 3:30.